foreign nationals. Home Affairs says while some of those who registered to leave cited safety concerns, others simply indicated that they wanted to return home. Home Affairs Head of Immigration Enforcement, Stephen Van Niel.
We have cleared now 568 of them through the Home Affairs and other systems. So the remaining of that 560, about 300, will stand over until next week, Monday. That is the plan from the Nigerian embassy.
More departures are expected in the days ahead as officials continue to process those who have asked to return. Momke Zikoko, Eyewitness News, OR Tambo International Airport.
Residents in Cleveland on the East Rand are calling on police to crack down illegal miners after 12 people were killed there. 10 men opened fire at the Jumpers informal settlement on Tuesday night in what is believed to be a turf war among Zamazamas. Ward Councillor Niren Peterson says that illegal mining is a serious problem in the area.
There are a lot of access points into the site. So often I've been on Stanford Road and seen many miners running, fleeing from the police operation that was happening at that time. And that is the problem that is occurring here. I do believe that the Department of Mining and Minerals needs to come here and deal with this site.
While police investigate if the attack is linked to illegal mining, acting Gauteng Premier Faith Mazibuko says she's confident police will track down those responsible.
Cleveland Police Station, they must also check themselves up. The communities are complaining that each time they call the police are never there. So we hope that this incident will open their eyes and make them to be more visible and respond on time when they are called by members of the community. They must not just dismiss any calls.
A Hawks officer says he's received threats from his seniors following his testimony at the Madlanga Commission. The officer testifying in camera as witness I wrapped up his testimony yesterday. He says his seniors threatened to expose his alleged ties to suspected crime boss Vusmuzi Kat Matlala after he failed to initially reveal this to the commission. The officer revealed yesterday that he stayed at Matlala's family home in Mamelodi for about 2 years. He told the commission that his colleague, Captain Felani Zungu, arranged for him to lay low at the property after an attempt was made on his life. Witness I has given evidence about the 2021 seizure of more than 700 kilograms of cocaine from a truck traveling between Durban and Johannesburg. Alpha Ramushwana reports.
Witness I told the Madlanga Commission on Tuesday that he knew alleged crime boss Vusmuzi Kat Matlala as a police informant who provided tip-offs to law enforcement. In a supplementary affidavit submitted yesterday, he disclosed that following his initial testimony, individuals he identified as his seniors were unhappy with details he gave. Co-Commissioner Sandile Khumalo questions Witness I's supposed relationship with Matlala.
From the facts you have given us, it seems to us that you were grateful to Mr. Matlala for having provided you security and accommodation for 2 years, and now he wanted a favor from you and you were willing to do a favor from him. You are willing to do a favor for him, rather.
No, I was not willing. Esa did not, Commissioner.
Witness I insists he never had a close relationship with Matlala and says he only discovered he had been living at his property much later. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
And Kuwait's military says its air defenses are engaging hostile aerial targets after the US launched fresh attacks against Iran. The military says this is in accordance with established operational procedures. Iran yesterday reported that 18 major US military targets in Kuwait and Bahrain had come under attack amid rapidly escalating regional tensions. The US launched a new wave of attacks against Iran last night as efforts to end the 3-month-old war spattered. Tehran hit back, saying it will target to the pound, 19.12 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $94.59 a barrel.
In the traffic, look out for faulty traffic lights in Woodmead at Woodmead Drive and Woodlands, in Fourways at Monte Casino and Winnie Mandela, as well as in Fourways at Cedar and Witkoppen Road.
And in your sport, Bafana coach Hugo Broos says his players are excited and motivated to open the FIFA World Cup against Mexico tonight. Cape Town City will not be playing in the Betway Premiership next season. Springboks have called up Ruben van Heerden to replace Salman Murat, and Serena Williams doubles match at the Queen's Club in doubt after Victoria Mboko suffered an injury.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg starting at 4 degrees, peaking at 19. Pretoria 9 and 20. Vereniging 6 and 19 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. At least 268 Nigerian nationals have been repatriated from South Africa to their home country.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
7:02
Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This Youth Month, 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
commemorates the youth of 1976. Let's walk the talk.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala. Goal! Bafana, Bafana! Goal for South Africa! Goal for all Africa! Jambu Lila, rejoice!
Oh, the sea is cold and the sky is gray. Look across the island into the bay. We are islands.
Feel it! It is here! The day we have been waiting for. The 11th of June, the year of our Lord 2026. Who will draw first blood? Bafana Bafana v Mexico. The global showpiece taking center stage. Billions will be watching the beautiful game. Tell you what, we're going to take song requests. We'll see how many we can find. Yeah, it's talk radio. Shh, don't tell my bosses. What's your song? What's your wish for Bafana Bafana? Your positive message. Not just good luck. I want it in a song. What is the song that speaks to what you wish for this team, for this moment, for this global showpiece? My name is Bongani Bingwa. You are listening to 702 Breakfast.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
On our menu today, we'll talk about America and politics. Hosting a tournament like this is also about prestige. It's also about projecting soft power on the global stage. Do you remember the frequent visits by FIFA officials inspecting every stadium, every nook and cranny, not fully sure whether we could pull it off? We saw the same thing in 2002 when Japan and South Korea were co-hosts. A lot of the Japanese media raising questions about South Korea's ability to be a co-host with them for that version of the FIFA World Cup. Has the same scrutiny been shown to the US of A? Of course, they've got their two co-hosts, Mexico and Canada. And how is the Trump White House affecting this particular tournament? Will the Trump administration turn the beautiful game into something ugly? Terence McNamee will be joining us, a global affairs specialist, in the first hour of the show. And then 40 years later, it's one of those moments that perhaps we don't reflect enough on. A bomb went off at a popular night spot at a Durban beach. It was set off by a car bomb as part of an MK sleeper cell. The target was because that's where a lot of security branch officers used to hang out. 3 civilians were killed, 69 people were injured. Robert McBride was said to be the mastermind. There was some dispute between he and his girlfriend as to whose decision it actually was. But all these years later, how do we reflect on that moment of our history? It's particularly pertinent, of course, because the Kampepe Commission is meant to find out why it is TRC prosecutions were not followed and pursued with the vigor you would have expected. And isn't it interesting that former presidents Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma, who rarely align these days with each other, much less with the incumbent, but all three are a little reluctant for this commission to go ahead. We'll speak to veteran journalist Michael Schmidt about that. And then just before 9 o'clock, we'll tell you about the latest edition of the Encounters International Documentary Festival.
Good morning, Bongani and team. In 2010, a listener called in to say he has named his boy twins Bafana in Mexico. So those guys will be 16 years now. Can that listener call again just to tell us how he feels now that is Bafana in Mexico again, and just tell us how his boys are doing? I was very intrigued. I was very happy for him. Please call in, listener, father of Bafana in Mexico. Here we go again. We got this. Good show, guys.
Thank you very much. Wow, I didn't know that. I remember I was on a shoot. We were on a story. I was still working at Carte Blanche, and we were driving past the FNB Stadium. We could hear the pandemonium, the noise, and we tried to switch on the radio to listen to the score. And that Chabalala goal was just absolutely amazing. Muteo Kharipa, you're here for business news and so much more. Do you remember that moment? Were you watching?
I just graduated, I think, in March, and the tournament would have been in June.
Oh, wait. You just graduated. I suppose the better question is, were you sober?
Oh, no, I wasn't. Of course I wasn't. So, banded about with a group of my friends. Obviously didn't have tickets to the first game, but we had to find a spot where we're going to have a good enough screen to watch this thing. And just getting around the city, everybody's selling flags at the corner of the streets, the T-shirts. Everybody's saying hi to one another. I had never heard so many accents in Johannesburg during that time. It was just one of those incredible times where the world was just in one melting pot, and it was so exciting.
My friend was reminding me past weekend, about people renovating their homes, thinking they were going to make money as Airbnb.
Oh, yes.
I'd love to hear the silly things you did in anticipation of the 2010 FIFA World Cup and whether or not it worked out for you. Amoramila is out for the day. We welcome back Khumutso Munyai. Would you remember 2010, Khumutso?
No,
were you old enough?
No.
Were you born?
Okay, wow, come for me. I was in grade 7. I don't remember much, to be honest. No, I don't.
The vibe,
but
the
it
moment,
sounds great.
the
It sounds
greater.
buzzing.
No?
I mean, no.
All passed you by.
But I will remember now. Now I will remember.
Did
so
you not have
me,
to color in a flag at school? Nothing?
No, none of that. But listen, ask me this next year. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
So it brings us to our shout out this morning.
Okay.
I want to know on 072 702 1702, what is that cultural phenomenon or trend that perhaps grew after your time? So not before your time, Khumutso, because we want everybody to feel included.
All right.
Right. This one is after your time, or at least it was indicative that your time was past. You see people, they are passionate about it. They talk knowledgeably about it, right? And they're in discussions that are fierce and furious, and you just don't get it. And it's one of those things that let you know it's okay. You're just one of the older girls. Is there such a phenomenon? Muteo Kharipe?
For me, it's Habli and what is it? Choof.
Yes.
Habli and Choof.
What's Choof now?
It's vape.
Yeah. They call it Choof.
It's him having to ask, then you know.
Choof. I was today years old.
There's all sorts of flavors that come with Habli. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on.
I just remember doing stories on it as a health concern when I was at Carte Blanche all those years ago.
You were
It's one of
definitely
those
being an
things.
adult.
Wow. I mean,
Beware.
somebody has to be in the room.
For me, it has to be, I'm going to get into trouble for this because a lot of people use it, but it has to be ashwagandha. I have no idea what the fuss is about that one, and the whole thing about being nonchalant and all these supplements that we have to take to be so chilled and feel like we have got no feelings. Yeah, no, I don't get that one.
I've forced our producer, Bapelile Sambo, to come into the studio. You can have a seat, Bapelile.
She's so ready.
Sit down. She's
No,
so ready.
I'm working.
So she's written this list. She's written this list for me of trends or cultural phenomena that is popping, to use the words the youngsters would use. There's something called, okay, I know what K-pop is, right? This is the Korean pop music.
Yes.
That's a trend that's passed me by, thankfully. Then, Bapilile, you've included on your list something called ASMR videos.
I am so shocked you don't know about this.
What is ASMR?
These are videos designed to trigger a calming, tingling feeling in the brain through soft sound like whispering, tapping, and brushing. So influencers will get these high...
Brushing what?
It could be whatever. It could be a ball, a soft ball that you're rubbing against your mic so that it sort of like makes you relaxed and you can sleep with it. And people will just use this calming voice like, hello, this is what, and today, That's ASMR videos, and they're trending, and people love them, and people subscribe to these things.
Muteo was saying that off air, that they even chew.
Yeah, some people chew there, and then people listen to those sounds.
Wait, hold on. People record themselves chewing as a way to help others fall asleep.
Yeah, 100%, yes.
That would turn me violent.
Others like it.
It would not calm me down. That would turn me violent. Then you say there's something called cosplay culture.
Yes,
Cosplay.
yes. This is when people dress up as characters from movies, games, anime, comics. This you'll see often at events or online. So they will have a gathering, and then you come dress up in your favorite character.
Mateo, do you know cosplay culture?
No, that skipped me. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, isn't it a little bit like Guy Fawkes and all that thing that we used to do when we were younger? It just has a fancy
for
name
Halloween,
now.
yes.
Yeah.
No, but this one is fancier. Like it's a gathering where you like dress up in those elite clothes, like not just like guy and trying to be funny. This is like a real situation.
I don't even know the difference between bomb and amapiano.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
It's 18 minutes after 6 o'clock. We're keeping an eye on this developing story. 268 Nigerian nationals repatriated from South Africa back to their home country. They left the OR Tambo International Airport last night, taking advantage of a voluntary process coordinated by both countries. Do you think that low a number will make any difference, or is this kind of thing just bad PR for South Africa? Whichever way you look at it, we are the ones who lose out in the end. What are your views on that one?
Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
Muteo Kharipa, you've got a question of your own, 19 after 6.
Yeah, I want to ask you and the 702 landers this morning, have you Google searched your car's crash test and how it fares?
I
in a
have
crash?
I have not.
Has it horrified
I've
you?
seen
If you
videos.
have?
I've seen videos where they test different cars and whether they and how they would withstand certain situations. But I've
like
never
a
actually
side
thought about mine.
impact or a
Yeah.
head-on collision. Please do that. I find it very interesting.
Johanna.
It could be scary,
Johanna.
but also it could put you at ease because then you could be owning a car that could defend
Right?
you.
How did your car do?
Not too bad. It's a Kia Rio, and I thought this thing is just gonna be a can after this crash. But
Yeah?
it held up really well, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's not bad.
You're safe with us.
And it's become a thing on social media where people are like, yo,
Really?
I looked up my car. It's not safe, but you know what? I love my car. I'm still keeping it. So I want to know if you've had a look, and are you still keeping your car, or did you decide to change it because of that reason?
Oh, that scares me.
7:02.
Weather.
20 after 6, what conditions can you expect on this fine Thursday? Temperatures peaking at 19 degrees in Johannesburg and Vereeniging. Your high in Pretoria is 20. A cloudy morning expected for Cape Town. 17 degrees, your peak there. Mahikeng is 22. Gqeberha 25. East London 27. And Durban maxes out at 26.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic brought to you by Citroen. Visit your nearest dealership this June, test drive or purchase any Citroen and stand to win an all-expenses paid world-class rugby experience to South Africa v New Zealand on the 5th of September. T's and C's apply. Khumutso Munyai, what are you seeing at this hour?
Thank you, Bongs. We'll start in Boysens. Those peak time delays are starting to trickle in. This is on the M1 North as you approach the Crown interchange, with traffic building up from Xavier Street. Over in the east in Germiston, there's slow-moving traffic from Rand Airport to the Geldenhuys interchange. Look out for faulty traffic lights in Midrand at Old Pretoria and Olifantsfontein, as well as in Midrand at the N1 North and Olifantsfontein. I'll have more updates in just a bit.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Good morning, Mzansi. It's a beautiful Wednesday. It's Thursday.
No.
TGIF, am I right? Citroen Super Saturday is back.
Yeah.
Test drive or buy any Citroen and stand to win a world-class rugby experience. South Africa versus New Zealand, 5 September. Double your entries with the all-new Citroen Basalt from 354,900 Rand with up to 40,000 Rand deal assist. Book at citroen.co.za. Runs till 30 June. T's and C's apply.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Ibafana ingeyethu siyavuma, ingeyethu ibafana siyavuma, izosiwinela eMexico siyavuma, oh iyelele siyavuma.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Your song for Bafana. Send us a WhatsApp voice note, sing it, and we'll try to sing along because, of course, today kicks off the FIFA World Cup 2026. It's being hosted by 3 countries, the United States, Canada, Mexico, and Canada, United States, and Mexico. All 3. It runs until the 19th of July. And, of course, on this day in 2010, South Africa became the first African nation to host the tournament. That opening match at Soccer City in Johannesburg, drawing more than 80,000 fans, billions watching around the world. And I think that was the moment that everybody around the world who had been doubters, who'd been naysayers, breathed a sigh of relief and thought, okay, it's on. Will we have the same here with all of the controversies in the build-up? Mateo, you were saying Al Jazeera did a comparison between teams and fans arriving in the 3 countries.
Yeah, they did a split screen of teams arriving in Mexico and, juxtapose it to teams arriving in the US. And the ones arriving in the US were heavily searched as soon as they landed. In Mexico, it was whole festivities, dances,
tequila,
bands playing, drinks all about. And it was a totally different experience. It's such a security, I don't know what to call it, iron fist in the US, when it comes to the World Cup. And it just takes away from the excitement and the festivities of it.
Have you ever visited somebody whose house where you are made to feel as if you are not really welcome? They don't really want you there. Your grandmother insisted that you be there. Your great uncle insisted that you be there. But grand Loki, they don't want you there. It's also, of course, International Day of Play. This is an official United Nations observance marked every year on the 11th of June. As I say, it's backed by the United Nations. And the idea is to put a spotlight on children's right to play and why it matters beyond just the fun. The message to governments, schools, parents, and those in education: make time for play for your children. Protect it and treat it as a key part of childhood development, not something optional. As an adult, do you still play? That's not Naruto. That's not what we signed up for. Listen to this. Almost 20,000 people in Japan have signed an online petition protesting against the use of manga and anime characters in US political social media posts after a video on Donald Trump's Truth Social account appeared to show him as Naruto Uzumaki from Naruto, sparking a backlash from fans. The petition, first launched in March and reopened this week, also points to an earlier White House post that mixed military footage with clips from anime and films like Yu-Gi-Oh! That's how you say it, Mateo. Yu-Gi-Oh! arguing these works should not be used out of context as they represent values of courage, friendship, and perseverance. So essentially, anime is what they are using to make political commentary, and the true fans are having none of it. And anime is one of those things I've actually watched. I've sat down with somebody who was very passionate about anime, tried to get into it, and I just thought, I don't understand it. I don't verstaan it, hey? So that's why we're asking you this morning that cultural phenomenon or trend people are absolutely mad about, and you just don't get it. You're going to Hollywood! You're going to Hollywood! You're going to Hollywood! Remember in 2002, the biggest thing on television was American Idol. It made its debut on US television on this day in 2002. It was, of course, an adaptation of the original concept, Idols, as first seen in the UK, and simply a singing competition, but it became a global phenomenon. It was all anybody could talk about in 2002. And of course, it launched the careers of megastars like Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, and Jennifer Hudson. And on this day in 1991, Natalie Cole released Unforgettable with Love. It's an album featuring classic songs that had been made famous by her father, Nat King Cole, including, of course, a groundbreaking virtual duet. This is 1991, and they were able to put their vocals together, including a video. Maybe let them sing, hey?
Unforgettable, though near or far,
like a song of love that clings to me. How the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone been more.
Natalie Cole, interestingly, had spent her entire singing career trying to step out of the shadow of her father, the great Nat King Cole. Didn't want any association, wanted to stand there all by herself on her own merit. And when she finally decided to do this duet album, she won 6 Grammys, including Album of the Year.
702.
The newspapers.
Honor your father and mother, hey? Zulu, what you got?
Good morning, Bongani. There's a story unfolding in Canada where a former Air Canada pilot has been charged with fraud after allegedly flying more than 900 domestic and international flights for nearly 17 years using a fake air transport license. So his name is Jeffrey Wall. He captained different Boeing planes while earning more than $2 million in salaries before he was finally caught last year during a routine credentials check when officials spotted irregularities in his license documents. So after, I guess, each 5 years or so, they check their licenses.
How long had he been flying again?
Hey, so
how long?
Nearly 17 years. Nearly 7, so under 17 years. And so during these regular checks, then they discovered something irregular in his license, that he is not actually competent to be flying any planes. But the Air Canada says that no passenger safety was ever compromised because he passed those competency tests.
So he could do the job, he just didn't have the qualifications.
Yes, it's just the license that
Front page of The Citizen, this is a worrying one. Old mines quake threat, abandoned mines filled with water, and Zamazamas carve away at millions of tons of rocks underground. The unstable land around mining towns is a looming crisis, they say. The front page of the Sowetan, predictably, Habashwe. It's all about good luck to Bafana. And the front page of the Business Day. Police graft casts a pall over grey list review. Claims of top brass links to organized crime undermining South Africa's hard-won status. In other words, could what is emerging out of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry get us back on that grey list?
EWN Business.
This EWN brought to you by Volvo. Experience the best of both worlds with plug-in hybrids, electric when you want it and fuel when you need it. Mateo wants to know, have you checked your car's crash test abilities, and how did it fare? What prompts the question?
Bongani, the Automobile Association says local motorists should be more aware of the safety ratings of their cars. 2 more entry-level vehicles available on the South African market have been found to have substandard safety features. The recent Safe Car for Africa crash tests have revealed that the Kia Sonet received a 1-star rating for adult protection, while the GWM Haval Julian was awarded a 2-star rating in tests conducted as part of the Global New Car Assessment Program. The Haval Julian is one of South Africa's most popular and best-selling SUVs, averaging around 1,200 units sold monthly, while the Kia Sonet is a highly popular compact crossover in South Africa, averaging around 800 and 1,100 units sold locally every month. Now, the Safer Cars for Africa campaign, launched in 2017, represents a partnership between the GNCAP and the Automobile Association. It independently assesses the safety performance of popular entry-level vehicles sold in African markets against internationally recognized global NCAP standards. ACO Bobby Ramagwede says SA regulators should be strict on car brands sold in our market to protect consumers. More famously, there's been a lot of cars that have failed such tests. The Hyundai Grand i10 scored a 0 for adult occupant protection. The Cherry Tiggo 7 received a low 2-star rating due to disappointing results in crash evaluations. We've had some failures with the Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Ford Explorer as well, who received poor ratings in the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Older entry-level models included the Cherry QQ3, the Datsun Go, not as safe, and the Polo Vivo, which is a very, very popular car in the South African market, receiving a 0-star ratings.
So now every time we get an e-hail ride, we're going to say, no, I don't want that car.
I mean, if the driver is of quality, you don't have to worry.
Where's the rand?
16 Rand 54 against the US dollar, 19 Rand 10 cents against the euro, 22 Rand 13 cents against the British pound. Price of gold, $4,075 an ounce, or platinum is at $1,665. Brent crude at $94 a barrel. More business after 7.
Relax. You're okay. Your new Volvo plug-in hybrid will get you there and back again, and there again, and back again. Because you're at least 80 kilometers of electric range away from having to worry about petrol or the battery, which comes with an 8-year warranty. But it will keep you going for much, much longer than that. Test drive a Volvo plug-in hybrid.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sfiso Zulu, bahambile.
Good morning, Bongani. At least 268 Nigerian nationals have been repatriated from South Africa to their home country. The group left OR Tambo International Airport last night, taking advantage of a voluntary process coordinated by both countries. They say they are leaving because of fears of unfavorable conditions for undocumented migrants. Mongezi Koko was at the airport.
The first flight transporting Nigerians left Johannesburg last night following weeks of anti-illegal immigration protests and a growing climate of uncertainty for foreign nationals. Home Affairs says while some of those who registered to leave cited safety concerns, others simply indicated that they wanted to return home. Home Affairs Head of Immigration Enforcement, Stephen Van Niel.
We have cleared now 568 of them through the Home Affairs and other systems. So the remaining of that 560, about 300, will stand over until next week, Monday. That is the plan from the Nigerian embassy.
More departures are expected in the days ahead as officials continue to process those who have asked to return. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News, OR Tambo International Airport.
Meanwhile, Western Cape Police Oversight and Community Safety MEC Anra Murray has urged residents not to target foreign nationals. Her comments follow the arrest of 2 suspects linked to the murder of Mozambican national Thomas Chungwane, who was stabbed during protests over undocumented migrants in Mossel Bay last month. Police are also investigating the murder of another Mozambican national during the protests. Murray says decisive action will be taken against people who violate the law.
No person has the right to assault, intimidate, harass or attack another individual based on their nationality or immigration status. South Africa is governed by the rule of law and any concerns must be reported to the relevant authorities for investigation and action.
5 people linked to a robbery at a church in Cape Town are expected to appear in the Athlone Magistrates Court today. The armed group entered the church in Samora Machel on Sunday and robbed congregants of personal belongings, including cell phones. Footage of the robbery was circulated on social media, and police were able to trace the suspects on Tuesday and arrested them. The police's Wesley Twig.
Some of the items that were taken during the robbery were also recovered during the operation. The suspects are facing charges for business robbery and the possession of stolen property.
An American billionaire Bill Gates has told a congressional committee that he never had a personal relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and cut ties with the convicted sex offender when he could not deliver on fundraising for the Microsoft founder's philanthropic efforts. Gates appeared voluntarily in Washington yesterday at a closed-door hearing with the U.S. Oversight Committee looking into Epstein and reportedly named powerful people Epstein approached for fundraising. He also shed light on his marital infidelities, saying Epstein had used them to pressure him. Panel members said that the testimony showed Epstein was a friend collector and associated with people like Gates to protect power and influence. A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 6 and 9 degrees, peaking at highs between 19 and 20.
In the traffic, in Boyson's, traffic is slow on the M1 North heading towards the Crown interchange. And if you are leaving Centurion, traffic is starting to build up on the N1 South between Old Johannesburg and New Road.
The top story this hour, at least 268 Nigerian nationals have been repatriated from South Africa to their home country.
From stunning goals to stunning upsets, stay on 702, K-Talk and EWN.co.za to stay up to date on the world's biggest tournament.
Breaking news. Motorists are bracing themselves for even more fuel price hikes in June.
Or prepare differently. BYD hybrid vehicles use up to 70% less fuel than normal cars. And BYD fully electric vehicles, no fuel at all. Test drive the brand new BYD Atto 2 DMI plug-in hybrid this June and kiss rising fuel prices goodbye forever. Visit byd.coza or your nearest dealership. BYD, build your dreams.
Smart Steve from Momentum, hello.
How's it, But? It's Jason here, your favorite gymfluencer.
Jason, still lifting more than your selfie stick?
Always, But. Gotta stay shredded, eh? But I'm worried about one thing. What if a major illness hits? Who's got my back?
Relax, Jason. Momentum's critical illness cover is your spotter. It offers the most comprehensive cover in the market.
Buddy, I'm signing up faster than I could do 10 reps. But I'm worried about something else, eh?
Let me guess. How many protein shakes it takes before you turn into the incredible bulk?
No, man. Will anyone notice if I skip a leg day?
Chat to your financial advisor about Momentum's critical illness cover. Momentum, protecting your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Mzansi, Akwele asked, and you chose. The brand new delicious mango sparkling flavor is here. And now, it's time to win. Aquila is giving away grocery vouchers and airtime every day. Plus, you could win one of 2 Suzuki Swift cars. To enter, get your Aquila Mzansi Mango in store and find the unique code under the cap. Sunshine, joy, and refreshment in a bottle. That's the new Aquila Mzansi Mango. T's and C's apply.
You've taken your small business far. Nedbank and 702 can help you take it even further.
How important is it that a campaign like Nedbank Business Ignite recognizes not only entrepreneurs but people who solve problems?
It is important because being an entrepreneur can be a lonely journey. You go through a lot of challenges, and when you do have those victories, there's no one to recognize you. This competition definitely does that. And what we're doing differently this year, we actually decided to touch base with our past winners to find out what they've done since winning the competition. I mean, my mind was blown in terms of what these guys have achieved.
Nedbank Business Ignite with 702. Enter now on primediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za and you could win 200,000 Rand. T's and C's apply. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. You send us an answer based on something that piqued your interest during the show. For that, we'll give you $1,000. So WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Later, someone else will ask a question to get your answer, and for their troubles, we'll give them 2,000 Rand. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Yo, Bongani, Bafana, Bafana, Bafana. She's the best team in the world. Bafana, Bafana, Bafana. If you know Leon Schuster movies, you'd know that one. And in 2010, what a time that was, man. At that time, we were living right next to a fan park, and the atmosphere that whole month was absolutely electric. Oh, I would love to see that come back again from Rustenburg.
Yeah, we'd love to see that come back again. Will this World Cup deliver all that is expected?
EWN Sport.
This EWN Sport brought to you by Checkers. The Checkers XXL Savings Championship is here. And with Checkers, everyone can save. Extra Savings members get 25 million Rand in daily savings on everything. And Cindy Peluta, are you saving your Bafana Bafana jersey?
Guys, let me tell you what happened. My children come to me. They're like, Mom, tomorrow, meaning today, the whole school is wearing soccer
Green.
jerseys.
Yeah.
You have to wear soccer jerseys, right?
Yeah.
You can't wear a different country. Thank you. You have to wear South African.
Can you wear a club?
Cricket, rugby, a South African club, I'm sure you
Ah,
can.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So you're proudly South African, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, don't worry, guys. I got you. I got my 2010 jersey. It's gone.
This morning, you can't find it.
I have a collection of everything else. The Bafana one is gone. I don't know where my Bafana jersey from 2010, guys. I was there. Like Philip.
Philip, you were there. You were with Philip.
And I never thought anything about ever having to see that jersey after 2010 again. I was like, okay, and now here we are. And I'm like, and the
Where
thing is,
is
I have seen it in the last couple of years,
Yeah.
right? It's disappeared. It's disappeared.
I think there'll be a lot of people with similar stories scrambling. So if you're still lying in bed, you're thinking about sort of angling your way out and finding your t-shirt. Get out and look now.
And interestingly enough, though, I did see an article, and I'll have to go back and look for it, to say that one of the top-selling jerseys of this World Cup is the South African one because of the way it looks. It is spectacular. It is so beautiful. And this is not a paid for, guys, in case you're wondering. It's just I saw an article that said, apart from the top teams, obviously the clubs, everybody's supporting their top
Brazil
team.
or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Bafana jersey. Anyway, on the field tonight, 9 p.m., South Africa against Mexico. No vuvuzelas at this World Cup. They've been banned. But it's a rematch of the 2010 opening World Cup match, right? On this day, 16 years ago. Don't you feel old?
Who do you want to score first? We don't
what do you
know
mean
what the
first?
score. Just first.
Only we are going to score.
Yeah, okay.
Only we
That's
are going
good.
to score tonight.
That's good, yeah.
Right? Coach Hugo Broos saying he's not using 2010 as motivation for his team.
I don't think that the team needs that inspiration. It was a great moment for South Africa so long ago, but now it's 2026. I think the guys are excited enough and motivated enough and don't need that goal of Shabalala. But yeah, it's a very nice memory.
Selected warm-up matches last night between Portugal and Nigeria. Portugal beating Nigeria 2-1. England 3-0 win over Costa Rica. Senegal goalless with Saudi Arabia. Cape Town City won't be playing in the Betway Premiership next season after a 1-1 draw with Magesi yesterday in their final promotion relegation playoff match. Magesi have to beat Milford on Saturday to be promoted. In rugby, Ruben van Heerden has been called up to the Springboks squad, replacing the injured Salman Murat. The Boks opening game is against the Barbarians next week. Serena Williams scheduled to play in the doubles quarterfinals at Queen's today, but is in doubt now after her partner Victoria Mboka suffered a knee injury and was forced to retire from her singles match with Karolina Pliskova yesterday. Williams made her return to tennis on Tuesday after almost 4 years away from the sport.
In cricket, England captain Ben Stokes as well as Gus Atkinson have been dropped for the second test against New Zealand. Joe Root is now the captain. The pair breached England's new midnight curfew as they were at a nightclub when a fight broke out with a Saracens rugby player in the early hours of Monday morning. And the South African men's hockey team taking on France tonight in the opening match of the FIH Hockey Nations Cup in Cape Town. Gosh, it's all happening on home soil for the first time since 2022. France ranked 3 places above South Africa in the world.
See, there is life outside football.
No, there is not. Oh, wait. Yes. The T20 Women's Cricket World Cup starts tomorrow. There is a lot of life. There is a lot of life.
Hockey?
Cindy Police, Eyewitness News Sport.
And another tournament kicks off this week. The XXL Savings Championship is here. And with Checkers, everyone can save. Get 25 million rand in daily savings. Like Coca-Cola Original Tasteless Sugar Soft Drink, 1.5 litres. Any 3 for 49 rand. And Baby Soft 2-ply toilet rolls, 9 per pack. Buy any 2 and get a third free. Valid until 14 June, only at Checkers.
702 Josie My Josie, Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people for the people. Sunday, 26 July, Babize Bonke. And this year you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. 8Ks, 44 Main Street. That's one route. It'll take you from Ellis Park through Maboneng and Jewel City, past the Field of Dreams and the Maharishi Invincibility Institute. And then you go through the Main Street Precinct, Gandhi Square, Carlton Centre, and of course you'll finish off at Ellis Park. So whether you want to take on 8Ks, 5Ks, 15Ks, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Johannesburg.
If you're a fan of the beautiful game, you'll recognize this. And this. But what about this? It's your chance to score big time. Win your share of up to 2 million rand with Standard Bank. It's game day every day. To enter, open and use any qualifying Standard Bank account, in-app or in-branch. Already a Standard Bank customer? Sign up for Standard Bank Connect online to get a bonus entry. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
I'm Samela Kilboy, an actress and a mum. Do you know what's in your cupboard? I've been trying to be intentional about the food I buy and keep in my cupboard. Unhealthy packaged foods can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and diabetes. Support front-of-package warning labels on unhealthy packaged foods, high in saturated fat, sugar, and salt. Join me. Sign the petition on healer.org. That's HEALA.org.
The future of business isn't just about making more. It's about wasting less, using resources smarter, and finding value where others see waste. Today, catch the Clement Manyatela Show, live from the Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program Business Opportunity Workshop, hosted by the National Cleanup Production Center. Discover how businesses are turning waste into wealth, unlocking new partnerships, and driving green growth across Gauteng. Be part of the conversations driving change. Today, live on the Clement Manyatela Show, brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Environment on 702.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Good morning, Uncle Bongani. My name is Kiabetwe. I go to St. Benedict's. I'm 12 years old. I'm in grade 7. When I grew up, I want to be a chef. And I'm very excited to play the Whiz Quiz.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
12 to 7, this EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Humutso?
Thank you, Bongs. In Johannesburg CBD, there's an accident on the M2 East that's causing slight delays as you approach Cleveland Road. If you are leaving Boksburg, there's traffic pressure on the N17 West. This is as you get closer to Rondebelt Road. And if you are leaving Centurion, there's slow-moving traffic on the N1 South. This is from Old Johannesburg Road all the way to New Road. Also look out for faulty traffic lights in Kyalami at the R55 in Kenilworth, as well as in the city of Tshwane in Pretoria North at the R566 and Paul Kruger. I'll have more updates at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 49. What's that random warning light that keeps popping up on my car's dashboard. Oh, the mystery. Well, with the Outsurance Pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
What I love about this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is that it's taking people back into the Joburg CBD. And for people to be able to see the work that Josie My Josie has been doing, how they've been fixing up the city, I'm so excited for people to see that. You should take part in this year's Walk the Talk because if you haven't been into the Joburg CBD in a long time because you're worried about safety, about crime, it's an incredible opportunity for you to go and see what's been happening in the Joburg CBD, what Josie My Josie has been doing, what the residents of Joburg have been doing. This year, I'm going to take part in the Walk the Talk because I can't wait to see the reaction of people when they go back to the Joburg CBD and to just feel that energy and feel the pulse of the city and for people to return and for the city to be rejuvenated and for people to want to get involved in being part of that. To enter the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, go to primemediaplus.com. I'll see you on the streets.
A bigger and better national lottery is here. Catch live draws every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday on ETV and SABC at 9 p.m. Plus all your favorite games, Lotto, Powerball, Daily Lotto, Match Play, E-Instant and Scratch Cards. Play online at retailers or on your banking apps. The National Lottery. Mo plays, mo chances, mo millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizekaya.
In fitness, as in finance, endurance is key. If you're 55 and older, you can get an interest rate of up to 10.25% with a Nedbank Electronic Optimum Plus account. Now, feel the earn. Invest within 2 minutes on the Money app and get money fit with Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. For more info, go to nedbank.co.za.
The XXL Savings Championship is here. And with Checkers, everyone can save. Get deals like Dew Fresh Long Life Milk, a 1 litre 6-pack for $99.99. Powerade Sports Drink, a 500ml 6-pack for $69.99. Save 25 Rand. And Finish Dishwasher Tablets, 45 to 56 per pack for $229.99 each. Save 60 Rand. Valid until 14 June, only at Checkers.
Kaelo Lifestyle, a mental wellness and support program for employees and their families, is calling on you to take a step towards better mental health. As the mental wellness partner of 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, Kaelo is bringing even more purpose to the walk. From checking in with yourself to celebrating connection, every step is designed to support your well-being. So rally your team and walk for mental wellness. Visit primemediaplus.com for more information. Kaelo Lifestyle, changing lives and improving business. On 702, let's walk the talk.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Up next, the conversation is the Trump White House about to turn the beautiful game ugly. In the meantime, let's give away some cash, shall we? 12-year-old Kiabezo is very excited to play the Whiz Quiz. Wants to be a chef later on in life. Kiabezo, shall we cook some money for you?
Yes,
Yes.
we shall.
Let's do that, shall we? KG, start the clock. True or false? The butterfly's larvae are called caterpillars.
True.
Correct. In maths, what is double of 500?
1,000.
Correct. What word is used for a dog's sound and for the rough outside part of a tree?
Bark.
Correct. True or false? The word adios means goodbye in Spanish?
True.
Correct. What is the name of SpongeBob SquarePants' pet snail?
Gary.
Correct. What are your 4 teeth called that come out last?
Sorry?
What are your 4 teeth called, the teeth that come out last?
Wisdom.
Correct. What is the first planet in the solar system?
Mercury.
Correct. How many times is a baton passed in a 4x100 meter relay race? Is it 3 or 4 times?
4.
It's 3 times. What do we call the curved strips of hair above your eyes?
Eyebrows.
Indeed, that is correct. Remember, it's passed 3 times because you start with a baton in your hand. So that was a bit of a tricky one there for you. Kiabetswe, not a bad round though. Really, really well done. 800 Rand is what you walk away with. Congratulations.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
Feel it, it is here. That was the rallying call when Africa hosted the world's largest sporting spectacle in 2010. It kicks off, of course, for the 2026 version today with Bafana Bafana against Mexico. But beyond what will happen on the field of play, hosting the competition is partly about prestige and even projecting soft power. But is the United States in the process of losing both? I asked the question earlier, is Trump's America about to turn the beautiful game ugly? We're joined by Dr. Terence McNamee, who's a senior fellow of the Montreal's Institute for Global Security. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, Terence. Not a single whistle, of course, has been blown, and already controversy abounds. Fans, officials being turned away, teams questioned for hours. Africa's top referee rejected. Quite the ignominious start.
Yeah, Bongani. I think it's important to remember, though, that most World Cups are mired in some kind of controversy even before they start. I mean, you recall the last one in Qatar, the huge uproar over their laws and treatment around LGBTQ community, also how they got the World Cup in the first place. And then 4 years before that, it was Russia as the host. And that was very controversial because it had invaded Ukraine and annexed the Crimea. So there's always something about a World Cup. It's profoundly suffused with the politics of its time. And this one, of course, it's Trump's America. And there's a lot of concerns about whether he can spoil the party. But my own sense is this is going to kind of melt away after the World Cup starts. And I don't think Trump is actually quite big enough to destroy something as significant as the World Cup.
Those comparisons notwithstanding, some people would say this one is a little different. I think for some time now, the world has watched events in the US and seen them perhaps as reflective of only Trump's opprobrium, if you will. But increasingly, I think people are beginning to wonder, is this what America has actually become?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously is highly concerning. There's no doubt that Donald Trump is a profoundly historical and transformational president. I think many people would say not transformational in a good way. But yes, he certainly has changed the nature of the Oval Office, changed the nature of the way that executive power is deployed. But again, I think my sense is that the institutions of America are resilient enough to withstand any one person in the office, but there's no doubt it's been shaken. There's no doubt the United States has been shaken to its foundations over, frankly, some of his conduct in office.
I mean, some of the issues that have arisen, Iran's football team, for example, caught in the crossfire of all of this. They can play on US soil, but not sleep under its stars. That's an issue. Many people raising concerns that perhaps players and fans and officials from specific countries will be profiled and targeted. We've seen phones, for example, being scoured for political views. Will ICE be a factor, for example?
Well, it may be, but it's interesting that you raise the prospect, Bongani, of immigration. Actually, often World Cups, the backcloth is an issue around global migration. It was certainly the case in France in 1998. And I think that, it's important to sort of understand that, yes, many things could go wrong, but many things at most World Cups can go wrong. I mean, we remember here in 2010 how much we were concerned about crime, how much we were concerned about power. So yes, in this particular case, we certainly don't want, foreigners being rounded up by ICE. And let's face it, I'm sure there's going to be an incident or two. But it's also just as possible that, we may be over egging this a little bit and a kind of kumbaya atmosphere might take over. Maybe the US police and security will be proven not to be, like on the streets of Minnesota and that type of stuff. But until that, that first kickoff tonight, we really don't know how it's all going to unfold.
There's been some discussion, though, about public excitement being relatively muted at this late stage, issues around pricing, not only for tickets at the various stadia, but even things like transport, for example, being an issue. Will those put a dampener on things?
I don't think so. Again, just with a historical hat on, you remember that there's often been a certain apathy on the part of hosts, or I should say host cities. I mean, this was certainly the case in France in 1998, which I attended. At the beginning of the tournament, there was lots of complaints in France about the population being somewhat disengaged and apathetic. But as France progressed over the tournament and eventually won it, the tournament ended up being something of a kind of historical watershed for the country in terms of this sort of new model for France, of a kind of icon of a new, diverse France. So yes, there's a certain apathy in cities, but I think once things get going, there could be a great kind of momentum to the final.
And of course, that's the tournament that delivered Thierry Henry. We'll have to leave it there. Appreciate your time as always, Terence McNamee, Global Affairs Specialist.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
It's nearly 40 years after the Magoo's bar bombing in Durban in 1986. What does that moment of our history teach us? That to come after this Eyewitness News, brought to you by Khaliq's. Khaliq's, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is EWN.
More Nigerian nationals show interest in leaving South Africa, and MPs in the impeachment committee are struggling to come up with rules. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. At least 1,000 Nigerians have signed up for voluntary repatriation from South Africa. The first group of more than 200 left the country last night from OR Tambo International Airport. More flights will be facilitated by the Nigerian government in the coming days. The voluntary departures come ahead of June 30 deadlines set by civil group March and March, calling for government to address undocumented migrants in the country. Mongezi Koko has more.
The first flight carrying 268 passengers left South Africa shortly after midnight as the Nigerian government continues its voluntary repatriation program. The Home Affairs Department has confirmed that around 500 people have already been processed, with at least 4 more flights scheduled to take those who have registered to leave. Nigeria's Consul General in Johannesburg, Ambassador Ninikwa Okei Uchi, says the additional flights are part of arrangements to assist those who have indicated they want to return home.
What we're doing is getting our people home. We have 4 or 5 flights planned. Tonight is the first one.
South African immigration officials say the screening process is continuing as both governments work to ensure an orderly and voluntary departure process. The operation follows weeks of anti-illegal immigration protests that have left many foreign nationals fearing for their safety. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News at the OR Tambo International Airport.
A Hawks officer says he's received threats from his seniors following his testimony at the Madlanga Commission. The officer testifying in camera as witness I wrapped up his testimony yesterday. He says his seniors threatened to expose his alleged ties to suspected crime boss Vusmuzi Kat Matlala after he failed to initially reveal this to the commission. The officer then revealed yesterday that he stayed at Matlala's family home in Mamelodi for about 2 years. He told the commission that his colleague, Captain Felani Zungu, arranged for him to lay low at the property after an attempt was made on his life. Witness I has given evidence about the 2021 seizure of more than 700 kilograms of cocaine from a truck that was traveling between Durban and Johannesburg. Alfara Mushwana has more.
Witness I told the Madlanga Commission on Tuesday that he knew alleged crime boss Vusmuzi Kat Matlala as a police informant who provided tip-offs to law enforcement. In a supplementary affidavit submitted yesterday, he disclosed that following his initial testimony, individuals he identified as his seniors were unhappy with details he gave. Co-Commissioner Sandile Khumalo questions Witness I's supposed relationship with Matlala.
From the facts you have given us, it seems to us that you were grateful to Mr. Matlala for having provided you security and accommodation for 2 years, and now he wanted a favor from you and you were willing to do a favor from him. You are willing to do a favor for him, rather?
No, I was not willing. SA did not, Commissioner.
Witness I insists he never had a close relationship with Matlala and says he only discovered he had been living at his property much later. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
The rules-making process for Parliament's first impeachment committee has hit a snag. Political parties are at odds over whether a fit and proper criterion should be introduced for MPs serving on the committee. It was widely expected that amended rules would have been adopted by the National Assembly by the end of the week, but Speaker Thoko Didiza yesterday ordered MPs to reach an agreement on whether they want to make further inclusions in respect of this proposal. Some political parties also want the rules to be made more explicit that a president facing impeachment must appear in person before the committee. President Cyril Ramaphosa is facing impeachment over the storage of US dollars on his Limpopo farm, Palapala. Lindsay Dentlinga reports.
The nomination of impeached former Judge President turned MP John Hlophe to represent the MK party has prompted the DA to propose that the legal definition of fit and proper be used to determine which MPs should serve on the impeachment committee. The DA's Glynis Breitenbach has disagreed with Parliament's legal advice that public input be obtained first before introducing such a rule.
We should remember that there will be a very high bar for our participation in this committee and that there will be a huge amount of public interest.
Speaker Thoko Didiza has now advised that the Rules Subcommittee meet again to clarify the matter.
So that we don't just accept a principle of fit and proper without the definition, but also its applicability. How would we and who will actually make that determination?
She's also advised the Rules Subcommittee to decide on a call from the ATM for the President to also be held accountable for indirect conduct in respect of the impeachable charges. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And Lebanon's health ministry says Israeli airstrikes on the country's south have killed 12 people as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged the Lebanese to join Israel's fight against Hezbollah. Neither Israel nor the militant group Hezbollah has observed an April ceasefire in Lebanon, and the latest war has continued despite a conditional truce deal announced last week after Lebanese-Israeli talks in Washington. Lebanese authorities say Israeli attacks since March have killed nearly 3,700 people, and on the Israeli side, 29 soldiers and one civilian contractor have been killed in Lebanon, according to its military. Gold is trading at $4,084.47 an ounce. The rand is at 16.52 to the dollar, 22.12 to the pound, 19.08 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $94.59 a barrel.
In the traffic in Boysens, the slow-moving traffic on the M1 north towards the Crown interchange, with congestion extending all the way to the Killarney Bains. And if you are leaving Centurion, there's still some slow-moving traffic on the N1 south towards Allendale Road.
And in your sport, Bafana midfielder Tebogo Bokwena says 2010 is long gone and the team has their own motivation heading into tonight's World Cup opener against Mexico at 9 p.m. Cape Town City's been relegated from the Betway Premiership. Serena Williams doubles quarterfinal at Queen's in doubt after Mboko is injured in a singles match. And England have dropped captain Ben Stokes for the second test with New Zealand.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 19 and 20. The top story in EWN this hour. At least 1,000 Nigerians have signed up for voluntary repatriation from South Africa.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Improve your business confidence by dressing the part with Khaliks. There you'll discover comprehensive collections of business suits, the very best value for money, the finest quality, impeccable service. So visit Khaliks today and indulge in all the latest styles and winter warm comfort. Plus, if you trade in your old suit, you'll get 30% off your brand new suit and a boost in confidence. Only at Khaliks, for the businessman who knows what he wants. T's and C's apply.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
Bamise bonke.
This Youth Month, 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
Commemorates the youth of 1976. Let's walk the talk. This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala. Goal! Bafana!
What a moment that was. What a moment that was. Will we draw first blood? It's going to be happening this evening at 9 o'clock. Some of the members of the team remembered to wear their Bafana jerseys, but not everyone. I hope you'll be wearing yours in support of our boys. We've been taking songs throughout the morning. Your well wishes for Bafana. What's your song that you want to sing them? Send us a WhatsApp voice note on 072 702 1702. The New York mayor, who was 18 years old in 2010, his parents, of course, were lecturers and academics here in South Africa at the time. Zoran Mamdani criticizing the U.S. travel restrictions ahead of this year's World Cup and remembering what was done here in South Africa.
After all, the best World Cups are those that reflect the energy of where they're being held, that serve as both a celebration of the best football players in the world and the cities where the games are being played. I will always remember being 18 years old and watching the 2010 World Cup with friends in Durban, South Africa. The sound of endless vuvuzelas, the freedom of playing beach soccer on the sand, the smell of meat cooking on the braai. Those memories are some that I will never forget. And with this watch party, we will create those same memories for the next generation of New Yorkers. And we will do so by bringing out the best that our city has to offer. We will have food, musicians, and entertainers reflecting the full breadth of talent and creativity of the 5 boroughs.
He was talking, of course, about fan parks that are going to be out in New York City, and he's using Durban as an inspiration. Isn't that the kind of story you want to hear about South Africa internationally?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
A little earlier this week, you may remember, we spoke to the Scopa chairperson, Songezo Zibi. This is on the Road Accident Fund, and they're taking legal action because the former CEO has refused to come to Parliament. Well, I want you to listen now. This is from 2 days ago, the 9th of June. Songezo Zibi, as of course the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts in Parliament, questioning the Johannesburg Executive Mayor, Dada Morero, and his team. There was that controversy, of course, of Themba Matibe, who is an official, who used to be, in fact, the CEO of he is the CEO of the Johannesburg Development Agency, a former acting CEO of Joshco. This is the Johannesburg the Johannesburg Social Housing Company. Remember, there was a raid on his home, and during that search and seizure operation, 321,000 rand in cash was found. He was later linked to 2 million rand in sealed South African Reserve Bank bags, and they said there was 2 million rand therein. And essentially, they were asking the Joburg mayor, this official who works and oversees entities where lots of money could exchange hands for special favors. Once this came out, once news of this and the arrest happened, what did you do about it?
Can we go back to Mr. Matibe? How much information did the executive committee have before making the decision to let the matter go? Just describe the information that you were given that informed the decision.
Thank you, Chair. At our disposal, it was merely the news headlines that we had received in the media.
Do you think that's enough information upon which to make a decision like this? I don't know, maybe I'm asking a rhetorical question because you already taken the decision on the basis of the headlines. So, did you take any statements from the employee to explain where they got the money? Okay, don't you think you should have, Mayor? Well, I mean, you don't know. I mean, he might get called by Justice Madlanga and then he would go, oh, oops. You know how bad that would look now.
No, as I said, Chair, we at that time the mayoral committee arrived at the decision that maybe the matter was not in the execution of his duties, it was outside that. But we do take counsel. I mean, leaving this meeting, I think there are certain things that we should have looked at as the city, and I guess we take counsel from you and we'll look at those matters.
You will have to tell us what to do, says the mayor. We just didn't think about it. The Scopa chair would not let the issue go. He kept pressing Mayor Morero and his team. Even the executive deputy mayor, Loyiso Masuku, stepped in defending their actions. You have a listen.
You don't know how the employee came across that money. You have no idea. You've admitted that yourself. It is if I propose to you that the money was the proceeds of a bribe in respect of work that needed to be done in that agency, you wouldn't be able to dispute it because you never asked and you never tried to find out.
Thank you, Chair. At the time of the mayoral committee, when the allegations came to the fore, we didn't have grounds to institute any investigation at that time when the media allegations came to the fore. So the mayoral committee then said, let us allow the law enforcement agencies, and obviously if there's any process, we will be guided by what would have come out, because we didn't receive any information about what had transpired, because it transpired in his home and we saw it in the media, and that is why we took that decision as the mayoral committee collectively to say we will be guided by the outcomes of the law enforcement. And as the group had indicated earlier, in the city, in fact in the mayoral committee, one of the conversations we had, Chair, was that the city would need to look at how we develop a policy, because we saw that there was a particular gap to make sure that we are able to deal with these allegations. If a person is found to be in the media on allegations, what steps then can we take internally?
They didn't know what to do, but it turns out having unexplained cash in the hundreds and thousands, perhaps even millions, is in fact a problem.
702. Up next,
The Big Interview.
Today is International Day of Play. It's all about parents and educators giving children time to play, protecting it and treating it as part of childhood development. Before streaming, before podcasts, there was and there still is FM radio. On this day in 1935, the world's first public demonstration of FM radio took place. It was developed by engineer Edwin Armstrong. Technology offered clearer sound and less interference than AM broadcasting or medium wave. Is there a breakthrough piece of tech you tried once and just never looked back? And, of course, Free Nelson Mandela. That was the chant that rang on this day in 1988 at Wembley Stadium in London, as some of the world's biggest stars in pop, Sting, Peter Gabriel, Whitney Houston, Stevie Wonder, came together for the Free Nelson Mandela 70th birthday concert.
EWN Traffic.
Traffic update. Khomotso Munyai in for Amo. N1 South in Centurion is an issue you were telling us earlier.
Yes.
Khomotso.
How dare you? In Centurion, no, it's not. You better do right, please. In Centurion, there's been an accident on the N1 South just before Samrand Avenue, and it is causing heavy delays coming from the Brakfontein interchange. Over in Johannesburg CBD, that accident on the M2 East continues to cause some congestion there as you head towards Cleveland, so please exercise just a little bit of caution and patience there. Also in Germiston, expect heavy delays on the N3 North between the Rand Airport interchange and Geldenhuys. And lastly, further ahead, congestion continues on the N3 North with slow-moving traffic. This is from Linksfield Road to Morgenfontein Road. If you come across any other traffic, please do send us a WhatsApp voice note on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
There was this enormous explosion, a horrendous noise that actually went right down into your body. There was a vacuum after that. There was a silence. And then, all of a sudden, there was this swishing sound, and everything just went berserk. It was a massive bloodbath, with flesh and blood dripping from the walls. I remember seeing half a head. I remember smelling burning flesh and dragging people out. There were people walking around in circles. They had splinters of glass, enormous, through their heads, through their backs. They didn't know what had just happened. The words there of an eyewitness account of the Magoo's bar bomb in Durban nearly 40 years ago, Saturday, June the 14th, 1986. 3 white civilian women and at least 69 people wounded following the explosion of a car bomb planted by an Umkhonto weSizwe cell in its war against the apartheid state. The popular night spot had been selected by operatives Robert McBride was said to be the mastermind behind the attack. He argued, of course, it was a watering hole for the notorious security branch police. And we were reminded of all of this in a searing piece, in a Business Day piece this week by journalist Michael Schmidt, who joins us now. Michael, thank you so much for your time and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Yes, thank you so much and good morning to everybody.
It is timely to revisit this story 40 years later because, of course, there are still so many unanswered questions about that period of our history. Certainly, some might argue, little accountability still.
Yes, we often think, especially because of the Truth Commission, that we know everything, in fact, about our very recent and very benighted past. But in fact, it's a history that, and a rather tragic history often, that seems to keep giving.
I noted earlier with some interest that, there seems to be very little in my mind that former presidents Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma would align on these days with each other, much less with the incumbent Cyril Ramaphosa. But for some curious reason, all three of them seem to be nervous about the Kampepe Commission, which of course seeks to explain why TRC prosecutions were pursued with so little vigor.
Yes, I was actually called to testify at Kampepe Commission earlier in the year around what I call the Pact of Forgetting. I name it after a similar sort of gentleman's agreement, if you want to call it that, in Spain between the far right and the far left, and sort of burying the atrocities of the Franco era. And it certainly is becoming patently obvious that there was a seditious attempt by the previous presidents to prevent prosecutions going forward, flowing out of the Truth Commission on all sides across the political spectrum.
So in 1992, you went to go get the backstory of what led to the Magoo bomb attack. You spoke to Robert McBride and his family and others. Can you tell us a little bit of what you found?
Well, yes, I think the context is very crucial. I mean, the actual attack came 2 days after the imposition of a nationwide state of emergency. The country was spiraling ever deeper into well, people call it a low-intensity civil war, but in fact, it wasn't that low intensity. Tens of thousands of people were under detention, were getting murdered on a daily basis in clashes within communities between different factions and with the security forces. McBride himself characterized this straight up as a war, and he was not far from being wrong. Yeah, so before he was released in 1992, I made the attempt to befriend his family, who lived in the then coloured township of Oosterville, just beyond the oil refinery in Durban, and found a very intriguing sort of family grouping. Father, very, very militant, Father Derek, a very militant, initially ANC supporter, and an obviously very depressed community even then, and still to this day suffering from the after effects of group areas.
I mean, you talk about 1992 and the release, of course, of McBride, and one of the things that we forget, I think, is that he was released alongside Barend Strydom, the so-called Witwolf, right, who had mowed 7 people down in Pretoria. There was almost this idea of an equivalence in what they had done.
Yeah, and of course that's not exactly true, because Barend Strydom, of course, was not a state agent. He was a lone wolf terrorist. In fact, there's still some doubt as to whether the Witwolf actually existed or whether it was a figment of his imagination. He was a former policeman who was deeply racist and remains so mockingly throughout his trial. But there was a sense that there was some sort of a quid pro quo. The two men were, I suppose, the poster boys, if you want to call them that, for the opposing sides of about 450 political prisoners who were released that year.
You became friends with Candace van der Linde, whose mother, Julie, was decapitated in the attack. How did that influence the perspective you still have on that story?
Well, I mean, it was purely accidental. It just she happened to be serving at a bar that I frequented, and I came to know through my friendship with her backstory, that she was the sole child of one of the three women who'd been killed in the attack. So I just had that feeling that brought some measure, not complete, but some measure of balance to my understanding of this atrocity, in that I knew people on both sides of the line. I'd gotten to know the McBride family, not McBride himself, but his sisters and his mother and his father. Interestingly enough, I at that point worked for the Natal Mercury, as it was called, and it's quite remarkable that his father had tolerated my presence in his home, because when McBride's sentence was commuted, my editor had in fact written an editorial demanding that he be hung.
Gosh. And I love the quote in your piece this week where you quote Candace van der Linde as saying, in a sense, her mother died a hero.
Yeah, I mean, that really is a striking comment, and a signifier of much of the largesse that you do see from many of the victims of atrocities on both sides, where people have had to work through an immense amount of personal pain, and yet have come to a personal realization or rationalization that this was a fight for freedom, and that their loved ones were caught in the crossfire.
And of course, no less than, you could argue, the grandfatherly figure of Walter Sisulu was there to receive and debrief McBride upon his release. You might say political cleansings don't come more symbolic than that in the South African story.
Yes, I mean, Walter Sisulu, a very interesting character, much beloved. In fact, in many respects, a more beloved character than the better known Nelson Mandela, and there to receive Robert McBride upon his release. Both of these characters, McBride and Strydom, and to this day, immensely divisive characters. Because a lot of other people, even if maybe the victims have made their peace with what happened, a lot of other people, members of the public, still bear grudges towards both of these men.
Look, I suppose the point at this stage, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission obviously provided a platform for both perpetrators and victims, but it remains very much the unfinished business of our past. And I suppose the last question to ask you, Michael, does justice always get served? Can it?
Well, I think when we have a situation, as I said, I think it's become patently obvious through the works of the and the testimony that is evolving at the Kapepe Commission. We've seen that there has been an active campaign by the powers that be to collude with the old apartheid authorities to prevent prosecutions flowing forward out of the Truth Commission. It certainly the the judicial part of that process, the retributive part that should have come out of the process for people who were denied amnesty or who did not seek amnesty, has been denied.
Yeah, and to this
But
day,
I think the restorative part has also been denied, and I think in many respects that is more problematic.
and to this day, there are those who don't want to upset the apple cart. Michael Schmidt, veteran journalist, reflecting 40 years later on that infamous bombing in Durban in 1986.
EWN Business.
The building sector confidence a little weaker, higher costs hitting construction.
I feel like I've been the bearer of bad news in the past few days in terms of SA data. But yeah, a positive sentiment in South Africa's building sector dropped further in the second quarter of 2026, with the FNB BR Building Confidence Index falling from 42 to 38 points. Any number below 50 is seen as a contraction. This means more than 60% of industry participants are dissatisfied with current business conditions. The decline was driven by weaker construction activity, lower profitability, and rising costs linked to the conflict in the Middle East. Higher fuel and input costs have also led to project delays, while uncertainty has made businesses more cautious. Residential construction also remained under pressure as higher living costs and interest rate concerns prompted many homeowners to postpone renovations and those smaller building projects.
All right, can we reconstruct the rand? What are your indicators showing you?
Well, the rand currently 16 rand 53 against the US dollar, holding on to very, very slim gains. 19.01 against the euro and 22 rand 12 cents against the British pound. Price of gold up this morning, $4,077 an ounce, or platinum is up 0.5% at $1,668. Brent crude now at $93 a barrel. More business after 8.
This Eyewitness News is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 rand. Let's start right here in Johannesburg. Svisazul.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. The city's authorities say they suspect officials may have helped some foreign nationals gain access to prime inner city business spaces owned by the Municipal Housing Company. The allegations follow inspections yesterday conducted by Human Settlements MMC Mlungisi Mabaso in Hillbrow and other parts of the CBD. City officials have accused some foreign nationals of occupying commercial spaces that should have been benefiting South African entrepreneurs. Mongezi Koko reports.
The city says the illegal occupation of commercial spaces inside Joshka-owned buildings is costing it millions of rands in lost revenue. Officials say once tenants begin subletting units, rent collection becomes more difficult and buildings become more vulnerable to hijacking. Today's operation started at a building on Claim Street in Hillbrow, where officials found about 80 people living in a property designed to accommodate just 40. However, city officials say their powers are limited as any eviction processes must first be authorized by a court. Until such an order is granted, the city is unable to remove non-compliant occupants despite identifying violations. Monkey Ziko Go. Eyewitness News.
The fate of 15 South Africans who do not have birth certificates now rests with the Western Cape High Court in a legal battle spanning years. 13 children and 2 adults are being represented by the Legal Resources Centre, which argues their right to a name and nationality has been infringed. Judgment in the matter has been reserved. Kemre Clark reports.
Among the applicants is 39-year-old Vuyokazi Jacobs, who applied for her birth certificate in 2017. She was raised by her aunt and her handwritten proof of birth, issued by a pastor, was destroyed in a fire when she was an infant. Now a mother of 3, her children are also undocumented. She says Home Affairs has refused to issue them birth certificates based only on their father's identity documents.
I've got 3 boys. The first one is at school now, but he attended school later because he's turning 12 years, but he's doing grade 3.
The Legal Research Centre asked the court to issue a supervisory order compelling Home Affairs to act on a backlog of late birth registration applications. Opposing counsel, Advocate Adil Nasiruddin, argued the court must respect separation of powers and apply judicial deference, adding that it is not the court's role to oversee executive functions. Camry Clark, Eyewitness News.
5 people linked to a robbery at a church in Cape Town are expected to appear in the Athlone Magistrates Court today. The armed group entered the church in Samora Machel on Sunday and robbed congregants of personal belongings, including cell phones. Footage of the robbery was circulated on social media, and police were able to trace the suspect on Tuesday and arrest him. The police's Wesley Twig.
Some of the items that were taken during the robbery were also recovered during the operation. The suspects are facing charges for business robbery and the possession of stolen property.
And Canada is proposing a social media ban for children and teenagers under the age of 16, echoing a similar law passed in Australia late last year. But unlike Australia's law, companies could sidestep Canada's ban if they demonstrate they have policies to minimize harm to children. The law includes sweeping measures to regulate AI chatbots and limit harmful content online. It would create a regulator to ensure companies comply. Some free speech groups have warned it would expand censorship, but parents have been calling on children's safety online to be bolstered, and as other countries, including the UK, eye similar bans. A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 6 and 9 degrees, peaking at highs between 19 and 20.
In the traffic, look for faulty traffic lights in Edenvale, at Modderfontein and Van Riebeek, in Woodmead at Woodmead Drive and Woodlands, as well as in Fourways at Cedar and Witkoppen.
The top story this hour, the city of Johannesburg says it suspects some of its officials may have helped some foreign nationals gain access to prime inner city business spaces owned by the municipal housing company.
Outsurance can't improve your karaoke skills, but they could improve the car insurance premium you currently pay. SMS out to 45142. Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't save you money on your car insurance premium, ask for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get a quote and get savings or cash. Either way, you win. SMS out to 45142. Want all the bells and whistles of car insurance at a great price? It's time to switch to Outsurance. Not only could they save you some big bucks, you also get that legendary out bonus that pays you a percentage of your premiums back if you're claim-free. So, are you ready to switch and save? Don't miss out. SMS right now to make sure you always get something out. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Guillain-Barré syndrome threatened to take everything from Sada Padiachi: his mobility, his independence, his future. Recovery was long and brutal, but Sada came back, not just to walking, but to running. This, comrades, every step he takes is a declaration. He runs for the second chance he almost didn't get. As the 2026 Comrades Marathon approaches, Cell C is asking, what are you running for? Tell them by tagging at Cell C on social media.
You know when your people are giving their best, not because they're pushed or pressured, but because they feel supported. And support is making sure they're covered. So if something happens, they can get the care they need. FlexiCare Health Insurance makes it simple for every business to protect their people with affordable health cover. You care, we cover. For a tailored FlexiCare quote, speak to your financial advisor today. FlexiCare is underwritten by ANG, a licensed non-life insurer and FSP, and administered by Discovery Health, a licensed FSP.
Hi South Africa, I'm Michael Owen. If you appreciate world-class sport and a great occasion, the Hollywood Bets Durban July is the place to be. The theme for 2026 is Country Allure, which sees the rustic style of the countryside meet the cosmopolitan cool of the city. On Saturday the 4th of July, it all comes together at Hollywood Bets Greyville, Africa's greatest horse racing and social event. I'll see you there.
Breaking news. Motorists are bracing themselves for even more fuel price hikes in June.
Or prepare differently. BYD hybrid vehicles use up to 70% less fuel than normal cars. And BYD fully electric vehicles, no fuel at all. Test drive the brand new BYD Atto 2 DMI plug-in hybrid this June and kiss rising fuel prices goodbye forever. Visit byd.coza or your nearest dealership. BYD, build your dreams.
What if the problem you faced became the business that changed everything? Well, that's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about, with this year's theme, My Pain, My Purpose, My Solution. So we're calling on small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful ideas. You could win 200,000 Rand in cash, plus mentorship, business support, and tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 now at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. Nedbank, see money differently. An authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
In Bongani and 702, it's Sanjay here. I remember those times with Robert McBride and that Magoo's bombing. And, he was quite a hero at the time. But when he got released and we found out the character of this guy, it was quite disappointing for me. He was quite a thuggish guy. He didn't seem to be, that struggle icon, that hero that we thought he was. And he just seemed to be a thug to me. And that was disappointing for me. But that's my view. Thank you.
It's one of those stories that perhaps isn't spoken about quite enough. It happened on the 14th of June on a Saturday night, this beachfront hotspot. You can imagine the music was blaring, the lights were out, the waves were crashing in the background, and then this car bomb explode, shattering lives in Durban. It was 40 years ago, and we talk about history lest we repeat it.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then later 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from Vuyo. Vuyo, please give us today's answer.
Morning, Bongani. The answer is 70.
70 is the answer. And Vuyo, tell me, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
I'm a member, sir.
Your biscuit. 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to 702 and Outsurance. And thank you for that answer, Vuyo. There you have it. 70 is the answer. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
Well, Sinipaluta, the big day is here. It's
here.
Still some hours away, of course, because of the time difference. 9 o'clock our time, hey?
Absolutely. So this time, 12 hours from now, we'll be sitting through the opening ceremony, and then, the rest of you will.
There's that.
I have a meeting at the school, but story for another day.
You'll be back by then.
No, the meeting starts at 6:30.
Yeah,
and the opening ceremony is 7:30. And parents ask questions.
Just say I have nothing to add.
I have nothing to add. And then, the kickoff for tonight's game is at 9 p.m. It's Bafana against Mexico. And Bafana midfielder Tebogo Bakwena says the team's not using that opening 2010 World Cup game as their motivation for tonight's game. 16 years ago today, Mexico and South Africa played to a 1-1 draw in the opening match of the FIFA World Cup in 2010. Here's Bakwena.
We haven't spoken about the 2010 World Cup. As a team, we want to create our own history. And as we know, our country hasn't went to the knockout stages. So us coming to this tournament, our goal is to see ourselves going to the next round. We don't have pressure. The pressure is on Mexico as the host. So for us as a team, we know what is expected of us, and we know how much we prepared for this game and for this tournament.
So the game will kick off at 9 after Tyler has sung the national anthem. The opening ceremony is scheduled to start at 7:30. Last night, Nigeria lost to Portugal 2-1. England beat Costa Rica 3-0. Algeria easily beating Bolivia 4-0. Senegal goalless with Saudi Arabia. All those games are warm-up to the main event. FIFA President Gianni Infantino had a press conference where he was asked if he had lost control over his own tournament. With referees not being allowed into the country, teams being forced to change host cities, and over 180,000 unsold tickets. Here's what he said.
Maybe sometimes it's good as well to just chill, relax. Sometimes to immediately start screaming and shouting has the opposite effect of finding a solution. But then we need to respect that we are not the kings of the world who can rule over governments and police forces and I don't know what.
Cape Town City won't be playing in the Betway Premiership next season after a 1-1 draw with Magesi yesterday in their final promotion relegation playoff match. In rugby, Ruben van Heerden's been called up to the Springboks squad. He replaces the injured Salman Murat. Serena Williams might not get to have a dream return to tennis. She's scheduled to play in the doubles quarterfinals at Queen's today, but her partner Victoria Mboko injured her knee in a singles match yesterday. Williams made her return to tennis on Tuesday after almost 4 years away from the sport. And in cricket, England have dropped Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson, appointing Joe Root as captain for the second test with New Zealand. This after the pair broke the team's midnight curfew. They were in a nightclub early Monday morning when a fight took place between them and a Saracens rugby player. Cindy Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN.
Wonder, Cindy Paluta, if they're saying you should see the other guy. But let's move on. This EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 Rand. The Chris Hani Road in Soweto, there are issues there. Khomotso?
You got it right. There we go.
You could also say, yes, and Dr. John. But you're a kind soul.
That is true. We'll start in Soweto. There is an accident on Chris Hani Road and it is slowing down traffic as you head towards Barramall. So please exercise some caution as you head into that area. The N1 North is experiencing those peak time delays. This is from Beyers Nudia to Winnie Mandela Drive. In Centurion, that accident is still causing slight delays as well on the N1 South just before Sam Rand Avenue. And those delays are coming from the Brakfontein interchange. Further down the route in Midrand, traffic is at a crawl on the N1 South. This is as you approach the Betlu interchange. If you come across any other traffic on your side, you know what to do. 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen get traffic flowing smoothly because when you're late for your flight, you're frazzled, so you forget about your passport. And, well, you know how that goes, right? Well, fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsmen easing traffic congestion for the past 20 years, everyone can get to where they need to be quickly and safely. Just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
Every great business starts with a problem. One you may have experienced yourself. Well, Nedbank Business Ignite 2026 is looking for entrepreneurs who've turned that pain into purpose and built solutions that truly make a difference. So if your business is generating between 1 and 20 million Rand, you could get the funding, mentorship and support you need to grow with Nedbank as your partner. Plus, access to Simply Biz to help you scale sustainably. So if you're solving real problems and are ready to take your business further, visit igniteyourbusiness.co.za or primemediaplus.com and enter today.
Hi, it's Harold with Netflix's Father's Day Hotline. Nicole on the line.
Harold, I think my dad went into hiding ever since I bought him the leggings for Father's Day.
Leggings? Leggings for men? Ach no, Nicole, the man's trying to disappear before his circulation does. You put him in a tight spot down there.
I know. How are we going to make now?
Well, maybe start with something loose, something personalized like a gorgeous gown from Net Florist before the leggings reveal more than his personality, hey? The first 1,000 orders get a free box of lint chockies. Net Florist, that's easy to show you care.
It's that time of the year. Sore throats, congestion, wet and dry coughs, pain and fever. For trusted relief for you and your family, ask your pharmacist to recommend a winter survival pack from the Adcock Ingram OTC range. With products like Medikil A, Expigen, Corenza Paracy, Adconapamol, Dilinct Junior and more, we have you covered this winter. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg.
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babise bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this book.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Josie. Babise bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
What's the question?
2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me what's the question. If the answer is 70, Emmanuel is in Roodepoort. Emmanuel, what's the question?
Good morning, Bongani. The question is, how old was Nelson Mandela on this day in 1988 when a free Nelson Mandela concert was held in Wembley Stadium?
I'll be kind, Emmanuel. It wasn't quite this day, his birthday. Remember, he was born on the 18th of July.
Yes.
But it was about a month before that day when the concert was held. So you got that part right. Indeed,
That's
it was
right.
the Free Mandela concert, and the idea, of course, was to keep his name alive. He was, at that point, the most famous political prisoner in the world, and so many artists came to Wembley Stadium to pay tribute as part of the Free Nelson Mandela campaign. And perhaps just as a little sample, have a listen to some of those performers as you contemplate, Emmanuel, your 2,000 Rand in cash. All thanks to Outsurance and
Thank you.
702.
Get a fast car. I want to take her to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove.
Oh man, at the peak of her powers, Whitney Houston, Tracy Chapman, George Michael there, others, Sting, Peter Gabriel, Dire Straits, all showing up in tribute to Nelson Mandela for his 70th birthday. It was a sold-out concert at Wembley Stadium on this day in 1988.
Outsurance can't improve your record for leg day, but they could improve the car insurance premium you currently pay. Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't save you money on your car insurance premium, ask for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get a quote and get savings or cash. Either way, you win. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Are you ready to let go of your ride in this year? We Buy Cars makes it easy and even enjoyable to part ways with your car. Simply complete their form on webuycars.co.za and they'll handle the rest. Looking to upgrade your car with over 12,000 vehicles for sale? You're certainly spoiled for choice. Visit webuycars.co.za today.
In today's top stories:
Trade tariffs,
droughts,
housing crisis,
the Middle East,
AI,
fuel crisis,
hunger crisis.
Current affairs affect your financial future. Unpredictable times call for a disciplined financial partner you can trust to deliver real value consistently. Reliable, trusted. Whatever hits the headlines, it's what makes us proudly predictable. Visit psg.co.za. Affiliates of PSG Financial Services, a licensed controlling company, are authorized financial services providers.
Across Africa, businesses are embracing the power of cloud solutions, and DigiCloud Africa is leading the way. As Google's chosen reseller enablement partner for Africa, we are committed to growing the Google Cloud Partner Network across the continent. We lead with our partners, actively empowering them through continuous enablement and training to deliver transformative Google Cloud solutions. Organizations looking to partner with Google Cloud experts or resellers wanting to partner with DigiCloud Africa can contact info@digicloud.africa. If you're thinking Google Cloud, think DigiCloud Africa.
Kaelo Lifestyle, a mental wellness and support program for employees and their families, is calling on you to take a step towards better mental health. As the mental wellness partner of 702 Josie Walk the Talk, Kaelo is bringing even more purpose to the walk. From checking in with yourself to celebrating connection, every step is designed to support your well-being. So rally your team and walk for mental wellness. Visit primemediaplus.com for more information. Kaelo Lifestyle, changing lives and improving business. On 702, let's walk the talk.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela. Not the usual Kabazela. He's out there somewhere. I don't know. I suppose you're not quite lying in the sun in the winter. Rofua Kone,
yes.
In for Jonathan Fairbairn. So you are Kabazela once again. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bele.
You do that so well. It's scary. All right, let's talk about the boy and the chicken.
The first time in a rural area. Bongani, in this clip, you will find that a young man, clearly not used to the rural environment, is plunged into that environment by his father as he's asking him to conquer his fear of this particular rooster. And let's just take a listen at the clip.
I think he senses your fear. Get over there and face him. No, get over there and face him. You can't run from him. He's going to win. Yeah.
Shame, man. So this little boy seeing a rooster for the first time.
And he's completely afraid of this rooster. He starts kicking and screaming.
He sets it off by running away from it.
Yeah.
And then the thing chases him.
It chases him, and then eventually he tries to kick it off, and he's just not fond of where he is and this experience. And his father is just telling him and taunting him, actually, in the video, telling him, get the chicken. And he's clearly scared, Bongani.
Listen to me, hey?
So
here I am, all 11 years old, and if you put a rooster or anything with wings that can flap them in front of me, what do you think I might do?
Any type of bird.
I mean, at least this boy tries to fight it. I would just faint.
And,
I
even
would
chickens.
faint. Pigeons. What? I'm scared of pigeons. Right?
Adama pigeons.
We've spoken about fears and phobias before. What question are you asking this morning?
Well, this morning we're actually asking about your funny stories, your first experiences in rural areas. What was it like? What were you afraid of most when you arrived? And what was your particular experience in the rural areas?
Particularly as a kid, right? Visiting, as an urban kid, visiting a rural area. It could be a farm, it could be whatever, for the first time. I'm about five years old, yeah, and we're at my uncle's house in the village, and I casually observed to my mother, but how fat the dogs in the village are. I didn't hear the end of that story because I had seen a pig for the first time, and I thought, oh golly, they've got such fat dogs here.
Oh my goodness.
And I kept being reminded of that little faux pas many years after that. Your funny stories, your kids, yourself perhaps, visiting a farm or rural area as an urban kid for the first time.
702.
702.
Feedback with Baphelile Sambo.
Baphelile Sambo is in the studio to give us some feedback. I mean, I think it's all about World Cup fever, I would expect.
Bongani. Today is all good wishes for Bafana Bafana. And we know that the last time Bafana Bafana played at a FIFA World Cup was back in 2010 when we hosted that tournament. So any step towards this qualification carries very big meaning for the team and the country. So from the producer's desk, we've put together a short clip of 702 Lenders showing off their musical and singing talent. Let's take a listen.
Bafana, she's the best team in the world. Bafana. We can win with or without Vuvuzela. We can win with or without Vuvuzela.
Mama, kikupa chelete ya ubona Bafana America Stadium.
That was so nice putting those clips together.
Yeah, some people shouldn't quit their day jobs.
No, they shouldn't. And if you are a 702 lender looking for a perfect place in Joburg to watch this FIFA World Cup,
yes.
You can catch the action at places like the FIFA Fan Park Experience in Tembisa, or the Wits Chris Seabrook Music Hall and the Wanderers Club FIFA Fan Park Experience. And if you need more of these places, just head on to What's On in Joburg on your Google and you'll find more sports and events there.
Okay, fantastic. Where will you be watching the game tonight?
I'll be probably sleeping by then. Bongani, you know we wake up very
good answer.
early.
Very good answer. I was just testing you because we have to be here in the studio, not in, well, at least upstairs, working to prepare the show very early. So we'll be watching it in our dreams, eh?
But all the best to them.
I might stay up a little late.
You should.
I might. All right, more of your feedback, more of your well wishes for Bafana Bafana after this EWN. It's 8 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Health officials are being investigated in an oxygen supply tender, and Feroz Khan's name comes up again at the Madlanga Commission. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. 3 Department of Health officials are being investigated in connection with an 800 million rand independent development trust tender to supply oxygen to state hospitals. It's been almost a year since the entity's former CEO, Tebogo Malaka, attempted to bribe a Daily Maverick journalist to shut down the reporting of the dubious tender. But Public Works Minister Dean McPherson says the IDT is now reaping the benefits of a turnaround under its new leadership as the second phase of the probe into the oxygen tender looks set to be finalized this month. Lindsay Tentlinka reports.
At the request of Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi, a forensic probe into the IDT's hospital oxygen tender was extended to his department. Public Works Minister Dean McPherson says preliminary investigations have identified 3 officials, but the number could grow as the probe unfolds.
The allegations identified to date broadly relate to non-compliance with procurement processes, deficiencies in oversight and accountability, and weakness in governance and record keeping.
McPherson says despite the scandals, the IDT is now an institution on the up, with projects worth 6 billion rand lined up.
It has tripled its cash on hand every month from near bankruptcy. And in the 25-26 financial year, the IDT completed 279 social infrastructure facility projects, exceeding its target of 244.
After a decade-long delay, McPherson says the construction site for the long-awaited Sarah Bartman Remembrance Centre in the Eastern Cape has been handed over to the contractor, with building work set to start within the next month. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Police Portfolio Committee members have questioned the police about the whereabouts of the infamous couch where $580,000 was concealed at President Cyril Ramaphosa's Palapala farm. Members of the committee believe the couch is a central piece of evidence in the ongoing investigation into the robbery at the farm. MPs have also accused police of whitewashing police watchdog IPID's investigation that found Presidential Protection Service head Wally Rhoda guilty of improper conduct. Babalondense reports.
The police and IPID were back before Parliament yesterday to respond to several concerns raised by MPs about how Wally Rhoda was found not guilty by the police in an internal investigation. One of the findings by IPID is that Rhoda failed to register or ensure that a case docket of housebreaking and theft was registered following the theft at the Palapala farm. Committee member Bongani Bingwa was also interested in the couch, saying it's central in the saga.
People are talking about the couch here. I'm also interested, where is this couch? Where? If it was part and parcel of the material evidence.
Action SA MP Darylene James also questioned the police about the couch.
Nobody can understand why a huge two-seater couch is missing, and it forms part of primary and key evidence.
The police and the presidency had stated earlier that the farm staff had sent the couch for reupholstering, but it remains unclear whether it was handed over as evidence. Babalo Ndanza, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
A Gauteng traffic officer has accused senior crime intelligence official Feroz Khan of trying to take credit for a major drug bust in the south of Johannesburg. Chief Samuel Mashaba testified briefly yesterday at the Madlanga Commission about the 2021 operation. Mashaba says he received a tip-off about the consignment and acted on information together with other law enforcement officers. Mashaba was arrested at the scene and charged with possession of drugs with an estimated street value of more than 300 million rand. Alfara Mushwana reports.
Gauteng Traffic Police Chief Samuel Mashaba says crime intelligence officer Feroz Khan was very hostile to him on the scene of a major drug bust in Ayrton.
Our success was hijacked from us by police officers who wanted to claim our success. Sorry, the only reason for them to claim success was by arresting us, and that is exactly what they did.
He says Khan's conduct was dodgy as he arrested him for allegedly attempting to steal the massive consignment.
At around 1:30, we were arrested by DPCI Hawks team that came last at the crime scene. They arrested us and took charge of the scene.
Chief Mashaba will continue with his testimony this morning. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
And police have used water cannon to disperse crowds who had gathered for a second night in Northern Ireland as UK authorities blame far-right activists for stoking anger on social media following a brutal Belfast stabbing. Police boosted their presence on the city streets, but while the main flashpoints of 24 hours earlier appeared quiet, dozens of men confronted officers in one area, throwing rocks and bottles and setting fires in the middle of the road. A Sudanese man appeared in court yesterday charged with the knife attack that triggered the unrest. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has condemned the scenes as shocking and completely unacceptable.
I want to thank the Police Service of Northern Ireland and other first responders and members of the public who responded with such bravery. And our thoughts are with the victim. But let me be clear, Mr. Speaker, the acts of violence and arson that followed are totally unjustified. This morning I spoke with the First Minister, the Deputy First Minister and the Chief Constable. And the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland is meeting leaders in Belfast today.
Gold is trading at $4,084.47 an ounce. The rand is at 16.52 to the dollar, 22.12 to the pound, 19.08 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $94.59 a barrel.
In the traffic in Benoni, there's slow-moving traffic on Rangeview Road heading towards Tom Jones Street. And in Soweto, there's an accident on Chris Hani Road, slowing down traffic as you head towards Barra Mall.
And in your sport, 13 hours to Bafana kicking off the World Cup against Mexico in the opening match. It's at 9 p.m. tonight. The first of three opening ceremonies starts at 7:30. Cape Town City won't be in the Betway Premiership next season. Serena Williams' quarter-final at Queen's in doubt after her doubles partner Mboko is injured. And the SA men's hockey team host France in the opening match of the Men's Hockey Nations Cup in Cape Town tonight.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 19 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. 3 Department of Health officials are under investigation in connection with an 800 million rand Independent Development Trust tender to supply oxygen to state hospitals.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This Youth Month, 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
commemorates the youth of 1976. Let's walk the talk.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
There's been a question that has been raised about just how corrupt South Africa is and the money flows and ties to law enforcement, powerful politicians who are there to protect or even push people out of positions where they may expose wrongdoing. And for all the work that was done to get South Africa off the grey list, how much do the revelations we hear almost every other day now about what happens behind the scenes, how much damage do those do for reputation or brand South Africa? Talking about countries and brands, a little earlier on, we spoke to Professor or Dr. Terence McNamee talking about America's readiness to host the global spectacle that will be the FIFA World Cup. And there have been lots of questions raised about all of the controversies in terms of the pre-tournament logistics. I want you to listen to a press conference held by the FIFA president Gianni Infantino, where he is asked some tough questions, in this instance by the BBC sports editor Dan Rowan, really just asking if FIFA has lost control of this World Cup. Infantino, of course, tells everybody to chill and relax. They've got it all under control. Are you convinced?
Chill, relax. We work on everything. We try to solve everything.
You say people should chill and relax about these situations, but you've got one of the world's top referees told he can't enter the United States, sent back home, accused of having links with suspected terror organizations. We have Mexico having to change their Iran having to change their training base here to Mexico. We have fans and journalists from a number of countries who aren't able to attend this World Cup because of travel bans or visa restrictions. Are you embarrassed, therefore, by what actually has come to pass? And do you have to accept that you've lost some control of your own tournament here?
And when I say to chill, I don't mean to chill and do nothing. I mean to trust us that we are working behind the scenes. We are trying to understand, and there are things we can know, things we cannot know, things we are told, things we are not told. And we always try to make the situation as positive as possible and to find solutions.
Do you accept that answer? FIFA has this global showpiece. Countries fall over each other and themselves to try and host it. Me, sir. Me, sir. Me, ma'am. So who sets the rules? Who says you can host our tournament only if 1, 2, 3? Don't they set the terms and conditions? He continued, did Infantino, to defend visa denial issues as we've seen them unfold in the US.
You know, in 2035, I think, we hope, the Women's World Cup will be in the UK, right? Still needs to be a decision, but looks like. Would you find it normal that FIFA would dictate to the British government who to let in the country and who not to let in the country? I don't know. Maybe you find it normal. I would like, personally, on the other side, the reality of the matter is that in every country there are governments. Try to get into the UK, into Germany, into Switzerland without a visa. Try to get a visa if you are from a certain country. It's not easy. That's what I want to say.
How do you say that? He says that it looks, a decision hasn't been made, of course, but it looks certain that the World Cup, the Women's World Cup 2035, will be hosted in the UK. What does that tell you? Right? Decision hasn't been made, but it looks like. So if you're bidding for that, are you then? Yeah, ne? Mateo? Do we just close our eyes and think about the football?
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, think about Qatar World Cup and how much, criticism was there for Qatar in terms of human rights and the people that were building the stadiums, the conditions they lived in, whether they'd be able to handle the weather. They had air cons everywhere because they were trying to keep up with what FIFA wanted in terms of standards. Think about South Africa. They were here
FIFA sometimes wants things from countries
all the time when there's a World Cup.
Yani?
They were here with our police trying to see how we would fare up. We had to do exhibitions and whole, things just to show them.
Remember about Jerome Falca?
Right? They were always here. They were always here to check if we would match up to the standard. And I don't think the same was expected of the US this time around.
And so what are the complaints now? People are complaining about not only just ticket prices, even fares to get to the various stadia, but even the pitches themselves.
Yeah, there's grass pitches that'll be flown in or maybe driven in from Texas to some other stadiums in the US. Players are worried about injuries for that. Public transport is not matching up to the amount of fans that are going to be there. And even in cities like New York, where there is public transport, more than $100 to get on the train. So it's going to be an interesting tournament.
And FIFA says nothing. What can they do? Is Aram.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Good morning, Bongani. It's Karabo from Klep Street. Bongani, I grew up in Soweto. You know, my first experience going to my hometown in Hamachikiri in Limpopo province. That experience, what shocked me was the pit toilet. It scared me. The pit toilet, it scared me.
I share a funny story. I remember as a kid, obviously with my parents, we went away on a holiday. So it's more like in the rural areas of the Eastern Cape and then like close to like beachside. And I think it was actually the first time I saw a cow being milked. And then we had to drink that milk, and then use the milk for breakfast. And I'm like, there's absolutely no way I am using that milk that came out of there. You guys need to go to the shop and get me milk. And it was like, no, but it's the same milk. Your milk from the store. I'm like, my Kellogg's that we got from the shop will not use the milk that comes from that cow. Go get me milk from the shop. And then live always.
We're talking from what's gone viral, a little video. He looks 4 or 5. And he hears a rooster for the first time, and he's curious. And the thing starts moving. He runs away. Of course, it chases him. And the father eggs him on to kick it. And it's just a bit of a funny video. And we're asking, as an urban kid, or maybe your kids, going to the village for the first time, going to a farm, going to a rural area for the first time, what funny memories do you have? I shared, Mateo, as my family still reminds me to this day. First time going to my uncle's house. I mean, I'm probably 5. It wasn't the first time, but it's one I remember. And I happened to remark on how fat their dogs were. They were pigs.
Oh, wow. My uncle has a farm in Mpumalanga, and the first time I went there, I was probably 6 or 7. And like the caller, I got to see milk being milked from a cow, because before that, I just had no idea where it came from. You were just sent to the store to buy a pint, and that was it. Clover, right? And he was like, no, this is where it comes from. I wasn't convinced. I really wasn't. He had to convince me to eat it. And I was just like, and he was like, no, if you leave it for a few days, then it turns into amasi. It's a bit sour then. By the time I left, it's the only thing I wanted to eat. And he also used to put biltong in like the oven because it gets softer, which I didn't know. I think my love for biltong started then, because I was like, why were we missing yama? It's just, I didn't get it, But it's those little things as a child that you experience for the first time.
Is that why you have such white teeth?
EWN.
17 after 8, the CWN traffic brought to you by the House of Citroen. The all-new Citroen Basalt is here. Book a test drive at citroen.co.za. Khumutso?
Thank you, Bongs. If you're heading towards Sandton, there's slow-moving traffic on the M1 South. This is from the Butlu interchange all the way to Brayston Drive. Over in Benoni, there's slow-moving traffic on Rangeview Road. This is heading towards Tom Jones Street. And in Centurion, the accident that was on the N1 South just before Sam Rand Avenue has been cleared, so traffic is easing up in that area. You can look out for 40 traffic lights in Edenvale at Modderfontein and Van Riebeek, in Midrand at Old Pretoria and Olifantsfontein, and in the capital city in Pretoria CBD at Lillian Goy and Francis Bard. If you do come across any other traffic on your side, please send us a WhatsApp voice note on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The all-new Citroen Basalt is here with keyless entry, wireless Apple and Android CarPlay. It's made to look good and make life easy. And that 470-litre boot, it's ready for every outfit change and then some. The all-new Citroen Basalt Coupe SUV from 354,000 Rand. Register now for the limited launch deal assist of up to 40,000 Rand. Book a test drive today at citroen.co.za. T's and C's apply.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
RMB Africa Focus, brought to you by RMB, a leading African corporate and investment bank. Today, our focus is on Africa's economic outlook and what lies ahead for growth, investment, and opportunities across the continent. This, of course, is our 5th season, and this week we are focusing on the continent as a whole. Africa remains one of the world's fastest growing regions despite global instability. The continent entered 2026 with cautious optimism. The International Monetary Fund and African Development Bank projecting growth to 4.3%. And as always, we're in conversation with the award-winning journalist, Crystal Alderson, to take us through all of this. Crystal, a very good morning to you. Let's start with the fact that in Africa, of course, we mostly rely on imported fuel, even though we are producers, at least in terms of oil. How have all of the issues around geopolitical concerns affected the continent?
Good morning, Bongani. So I think let's start with the good news. We're still the world's fastest growing economic region, outpacing Asia. And I think it had to do with all the work that's been done from different countries, which include massive infrastructure investments, regional trade integration through the Africa Free Trade Agreement, and then, of course, the rising global demand for critical raw minerals. But, of course, we know that this year has been tough for African economies because of our heavy reliance on imported oils, and it's basically left the continent open to economic shocks. And so what we see, given that apart from Nigeria, Angola and Ghana, who are our big oil producers, the majority of us actually import our fuel, which means again that we're at risk of high fuel prices, and because it means, yes, there's oil, but it doesn't always mean, and you have the money, but they doesn't mean that there's availability of it. So that's also playing in part. So having said that, there's been massive infrastructure investments taking place on the continent. This fuel shortage means that transportation and logistical costs are simply going to increase, and then this in turn has an inflationary impact on the economy. And then we're looking at food insecurity, which relates to food affordability, and then we do know the consequences of the Ukraine-Russia war and what it had on the price of fertilizer. We knew how farmers were struggling, and again, we're going to see that. So all in all, Bongani, despite, the kind of initial good news of our economic growth, the conflict is just not good for the continent, and it's going to impact dire on most economies here.
I mean, how vulnerable are African economies to this kind of an instability, particularly if it's extended, if it's prolonged, Crystal?
Not great, Bongani, because firstly, countries had planned to embark on infrastructure investment. That's now not happening. Countries are now having to subsidize in some cases where they can. We know shipping routes have been disrupted. So it's really not great news for the continent, Bongani. And I tried to ask this question to Isaiah Mahlanga, who is RMB's chief economist and also head of research. And let's have a listen to what he had to say on this issue.
Now, if you look at the expected economic growth rates at the beginning of the year, they're quite decent, just over 4%, the fastest growing region in the world, the IMF World Economic Outlook at the beginning of the year. Now you have slightly lower economic growth because of this conflict, which then means tax revenue collections for most of these governments is also going to be slightly lower. It's just a derivative of low growth, low tax revenue. And then you have the response to the fuel impact itself, where countries have to cushion consumers from significant increase in fuel by offering some fuel subsidies. We did that in the South African context. Many other African countries also gave subsidies to try and cushion consumers. But what is a subsidy really? It's simply income that has been shifted from government to the consumer. So instead of banking the tax revenues that you would have collected in the economy, you say you give that tax revenue back to the consumer so that the impact of fuel is less impactful on consumers. But that tax revenue was earmarked for something else, whether to spend on health or to spend on education or to spend on safety and security, which still has a need that needs to be filled. Then it means countries would have to go into the market and borrow in order to cover for that.
I mean, I suppose one of the things we will be thinking about is challenging the global risk narrative because, as you say, Crystal, we are impacted, obviously, but we're not the only ones. Well, you can catch in-depth R&B Africa Focus videos with new episodes released every week on primemediaplus.com. R&B is a leading African corporate and investment bank with a strong presence across the continent, and it combines local insights with global expertise, supporting clients across sectors, helping them navigate complexity, manage risk, and unlock opportunity. With the teams on the ground in Africa and beyond, RMB connects markets, capital, and ideas to drive sustainable growth. RMB is a division of First Rank Bank Limited, an authorized FSB and credit provider.
702.
The Worldview.
John Adderley joins us this morning for stories from elsewhere in the world. Let's start with that geopolitical situation in the Middle East. John, Donald Trump, the US president, now threatening to hit Iran hard. I mean, hasn't he done so already?
He has done so, and he's done so again, because overnight the US and Iran exchanged further strikes across the Middle East. US Central Command said it carried out a wave of self-defense strikes on military surveillance and radar sites in southern Iran. And then in response, Iran launched a round of strikes targeting US military assets in countries across the region, including US military bases in Bahrain and Kuwait. Donald Trump said yesterday that Iran is taking too long to sign a peace deal and was playing Americans for suckers. He said Tehran had already agreed not to obtain a nuclear weapon, but the deal still needed to be signed. And all this, as I think Adam was saying yesterday, followed a series of strikes by either side after an American helicopter was downed on Monday. Donald Trump spoke to reporters at the Oval Office. He said, "We hit them hard yesterday, and we're going to hit them hard again today." And he also wrote on social media, Iran have taken too long to negotiate a deal that would have been great for them. Now they will have to pay the price. In response, the rhetoric from Iran, they were accusing the US of damaging the prospects for peace by violating the ceasefire. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian said, "We will stand firm against any pressure or threat." Meanwhile, there's the business of what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz and in the seas around there. The US military said it had struck an oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman that had violated the ongoing blockade by attempting to transport oil from Iran. So, yeah, no sign of the violence or the tensions easing in the Middle East, I'm afraid.
Let's go to Belfast. Tell me about Monday's stabbing. The family of the victim speaking out?
Yeah, they've been calling for calm, but it does feel like it's fallen on deaf ears. And it's really felt like a return to the bad old days of the Northern Ireland conflict after really quite a long period of relative calm. As you were mentioning, it started on Monday. There was this knife attack by a Sudanese immigrant. A man was really badly injured. We heard yesterday that he lost his left eye and his right eye was injured, and he has got back and neck injuries. And really, this prompted crowds to gather for a second night of anti-immigration protests. Homes and cars were torched, bricks, bottles and pieces of wood were hurled at police. And in return, they got out the water cannon to disperse the demonstrators. You saw footage of dozens of people dressed all in black, wearing face coverings, tearing up fences in front of houses, and then using the bits of wood as missiles. There was a much heavier police presence last night compared to the night before. So I think the police are really coming down hard now to try and put a stop to this. But people are fearful, you know, across Northern Ireland, public transport closed down early for the night. Some schools and businesses shut down early because they were fearful of more violence. And then you've got what's happening online. There are concerns that online posts are fueling the violence. And that's led Britain's media regulator to warn that social media companies are legally required to stop their platforms being used to stir up hatred and provoke violence. That's part of the modern day violence and threats, of course, which we didn't have in the days of the Northern Ireland conflict. It's just another thing to fan the flames, isn't it? Meanwhile, the suspect appeared in court yesterday. He was charged with attempted murder, threats to kill, and possession of a knife. So we'll wait to see whether we get a third night of violence in Northern Ireland this evening.
Gosh, the more things change, the more they stay the same. John Adderley with this morning's World View.
EWN
Business news now. Mutero Khwadepe, US prices surge as this war in Iran continues, as we've just heard.
Now, the annual inflation rate in the US rose to 4.2% in May 2026, marking its highest level since April 2023. The May figure was up from the 3.8% recorded in April and in line with market expectations. Now, Americans are feeling the pressure at the petrol pump. In particular, petrol prices jumped 7% compared with a month ago and are more than 40% higher than they were last year. While inflation grew, wages did not for the second straight month. The real wage growth declined by 0.1% in May. President Donald Trump says inflation will drop like a rock as soon as the US-Israel war ends in Iran.
All right, who's doing home improvements, Mutero? Not very many.
Not very many at this time. Positive sentiment in South Africa's building sector dropped further in the second quarter of 2026, with the FNB Building Confidence Index falling from 42 to 38 points. Any number below 50 is seen as a contraction. This means more than 60% of industry participants are dissatisfied with current business conditions. The decline was driven by weaker construction activity, lower profitability, and rising costs linked to the conflict in the Middle East. Residential construction remained under pressure as well, as higher living costs and interest rate concerns prompted many homeowners to postpone renovations and smaller building projects.
Where's the rand?
16 Rand 54, starting to weaken against the US dollar this morning, 19.09 against the euro, and 22 Rand 13 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,080 an ounce. It's up marginally, while platinum is also up at $1,666. Brent crude now at $93 a barrel. Stephen Grotes with more this afternoon.
Time now for your latest eyewitness news. Don't forget, if you love documentaries, we'll tell you about real stories from across the globe taking center stage here in Johannesburg. Swisa Zulu, in the meantime, what do you have?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. The city of Johannesburg says it's moving to tighten oversight at the Johannesburg Social Housing Company due to concerns over possible irregularities in the allocation of commercial spaces. The comments followed a raid conducted yesterday in Hillbrow and the inner city, where officials targeted defaulting tenants and questioned how some businesses were allowed municipal-owned premises. The city has raised concerns about possible corruption and insists South Africans have been denied opportunities because of weak controls. Mongezi Koko reports.
Human Settlements MMC Mlungisi Mabaso says gaps in the regulations governing commercial spaces have been identified. He says the city is now putting clearer policies in place to ensure greater accountability and to prevent abuse of the system. Mabaso believes the new measures will make it easier to manage commercial properties owned by the Johannesburg Social Housing Company.
Into those regulations and the policy. So that's the great area that we had identified. So going forward now, it will be easier for us to manage these commercial spaces because we've got a policy in place now that guides.
The city says more inspections will continue across the inner city as it moves to root out possible corruption and recover millions of rands owed to the municipal housing entity. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News.
Western Cape Police Oversight and Community Safety MEC Anra Murray has urged residents not to take targets against foreign nationals. Her comments follow the arrest of 2 suspects linked to the murder of Mozambican national Thomas Chungwane, who was stabbed during protests over undocumented foreign nationals in Mossel Bay last month. Police are also investigating the murder of another Mozambican national during the protests. Murray says decisive action will be taken against people who violate the law.
No person has the right to assault, intimidate, harass or attack another individual based on their nationality or immigration status. South Africa is governed by the rule of law, and any concerns must be reported to the relevant authorities for investigation and action.
The fate of 15 South Africans who do not have birth certificates now rests with the Western Cape High Court in a legal battle that spans years. 13 children and 2 adults are being represented by the Legal Resources Centre, which argues their right to a name and nationality has been infringed. Judgment in the matter has been reserved. Camray Clark reports.
Among the applicants is 39-year-old Vuyokazi Jacobs, who applied for her birth certificate in 2017. She was raised by her aunt and says her handwritten proof of birth, issued by a pastor, was destroyed in a fire when she was an infant. Now a mother of 3, her children are also undocumented. She says Home Affairs has refused to issue them birth certificates based only on their father's identity documents.
I've got 3 boys. The first one is at school now, but he attended school later because he's turning 12 years, but he's doing grade 3.
The Legal Research Centre asked the court to issue a supervisory order compelling Home Affairs to act on a backlog of late birth registration applications. Opposing counsel, Advocate Adil Nasiruddin, argued the court must respect separation of powers and apply judicial deference, adding that it is not the court's role to oversee executive functions. Camray Clark, Eyewitness News.
And Lebanon's health ministry says Israeli airstrikes on the country's south have killed 12 people as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged the Lebanese to join Israel's fight against Hezbollah. Neither Israel nor Hezbollah has observed in April a ceasefire in Lebanon, and the latest war has continued despite a conditional truce deal announced last week after Lebanese-Israeli talks in Washington. Lebanese authorities say Israeli attacks since March have killed nearly 3,700 people, and on the Israeli side, 29 soldiers and 1 civilian contractor have been killed in Lebanon, according to the military. A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 19 and 20 degrees.
In the traffic in Boyson's, traffic is slow on the M1 North heading towards the Crown interchange, and further ahead, traffic remains sluggish on the M1 North from Killarney Bains to Corlett Drive.
The top story this hour, the city of Joburg says it is moving to tighten oversight at the social housing company amid concerns over possible irregularities in the allocation of commercial space.
Let's count backward. 5. Insurance. 4. Pineapple. 3. Insurance. 2. Pineapple. 1. You're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Hi, this is Teko Modise, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Be a winner who knows when it's time for a timeout and play responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No person under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani 6 to rent a car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani 6 on sani.co.za.
I heard her interviews run smoother because she somehow finds the right people the first time around.
Yeah, it's like she already knows who fits where before they even sit down.
She must have gone for special training, like some sixth sense HR certificate.
No, guys, it's SA Youth, the largest youth online recruitment platform. It's fast to post, effortless to use, and effective every time.
Recruit on the portal to potential. sayouth.co.za, powering South Africa's youth workforce.
The future of business isn't just about making more. It's about wasting less, using resources smarter, and finding value where others see waste. Today, catch the Clement Manyatela Show live from the Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program Business Opportunity Workshop, hosted by the National Cleanup Production Center. Discover how businesses are turning waste into wealth, unlocking new partnerships, and driving green growth across Gauteng. Be part of the conversations driving change. Today, live on the Clement Manyatela Show, brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Environment on 702.
702
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, Bongani. I think what Gianni Infantino says about FIFA not telling host countries what to do is laughable, because we know that when they come in for a World Cup, FIFA runs the show for the duration of that time. We saw it here in the 2010 World Cup. So to say, not even able to stand up for your officials when they are being denied entry based purely on where they are from it's really sad. And I think what Gianni Infantino and FIFA have done is the unthinkable. They've sold the spirit of the game this World Cup, all in the hopes of making a quick buck off the US and cozying up to Donald Trump.
So when FIFA was hosted in this country, when it was held in South Africa, we were meant to believe that, unless we were fooled, we were hoodwinked, we were meant to believe that there are no negotiations when it comes to FIFA. They come to your country, they literally take over. They basically become the government of the day. You know, Mashi should still have a government, but FIFA is in charge, is in control. So why now? Because it's held in the US under Trump's supervision, things have got to change now. They've got to accommodate Trump. I am just as baffled, you know. My name is Tabo. Thanks.
Good morning, Bongani. This is Mledis here. I think Infantino made a big mistake of trying to please Donald Trump and trying to get too close to Donald Trump, because I think in Infantino's eyes, Donald Trump was then going to do, the right thing. But what he doesn't know about the man is that he does whatever he wants. And now after all that, brotherly love and giving him awards and that, it has come back to bite Infantino. That's why he doesn't have an explanation except for chill and relax. You can't chill if the top referee in Africa couldn't go because of an unfounded stories, of terrorism. So this is just biting him, Infantino, because he just got too close to the sun and he's getting bent.
I wonder if he cares. I saw a report the other day suggesting that Michel Platini, the former FIFA Supremo from France and the former, of course, great of the game, is gunning for Infantino. Because you remember, of course, he was in the front in terms of as a forerunner, rather, to replace Sepp Blatter. And until, of course, issues emerged around Platini, he's since been cleared because they appealed all the way to the Court of Sports and Arbitration, and he's gunning for Infantino. And maybe that gives you a sense that, we revere these organizations, and maybe what Infantino is doing, at least under his leadership, is really revealing the hand. What will be far more fascinating, I think, as we go forward, is what happens on the field of play. And I think maybe it's time to focus on the football, right? The players, the coaches, the teams that have worked hard to get to this stage. Let the games begin.
EWN Sport.
Right, Cindy Pelucha, for all the wah and the where around the tournament, once that whistle blows, once the sound of boots on leather.
Boots on leather? Oh, yeah, sorry. I was like trying to picture leather boots, and then I was like, isn't the leather already on the boot? I get it. I'm sorry, I ruined your beautiful description.
One, poetic.
Beyond.
Poetry.
Beyond. I never have spelled it. Yes, but you must remember, when it comes to World Cups and the build-up to the World Cup, and I totally agree with what everybody's saying, etc., etc., people will always try to pick at the host country. We saw it ourselves. It's never going to work. It's in Africa. It's not going to run smoothly, blah, blah, blah. Qatar's too hot. Nobody's going to come. You can't buy alcohol. It still goes
It's
ahead.
always an issue.
And guess what? Exactly like you say, boots on leather tonight.
Yes.
At 9 p.m.
There
It
we
is
go.
going to go ahead, whether you like it or not. Whether there are 180,000 unsold tickets, it is happening.
Here's the question. Will you be staying up to watch?
Yes, absolutely.
Because here's the other thing. People think we just come on at 6 o'clock.
Right.
And start talking. Often we have to explain that, no, there's quite a lot of preparation that goes into the show. We're usually here with the team at least at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
In fact, John Robbie used to arrive at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Right, in those days.
But just, topic aside, I get that John Robbie used to be here at 3, but he used to have to read full newspapers to get the information. We are a little bit blessed with the internet, right?
We'll still read full newspapers too, but look, we have a lot more access to technology.
This is where I'm going.
But the point is, if we stay up for the game, it's going to hurt tomorrow.
It'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah, there we
13
go.
hours.
There we go.
12 hours and about 17 minutes to go to kick off.
Okay,
right?
I'm staying up.
We're staying up. You can do it. I believe in your, in what is a rematch of the opening 2010 World Cup game where South Africa will play Mexico. Bafana midfielder Tebogo Bakwena.
I just want to pass my greetings to the people back home in South Africa. Of course, the expectations are very high, and it's going to be an amazing game, an amazing atmosphere. And as a team, we're looking forward to the game. We're excited, and we know how much it means to everyone back home and ourselves. And yeah, we're looking forward to the game.
South African superstar Tyler will sing the national anthem before kickoff at 9 p.m.
Wow.
And for the
Okay,
first
I have
time,
to stay up.
Okay.
No, I have to stay up.
You can make it tonight. For the first time ever, the 3 host countries will each stage their own opening ceremony 90 minutes before the host country kicks off.
Oh.
So it'll be tonight Mexico 7:30, and then tomorrow morning the USA, and then tomorrow night Canada. So each country is getting their own little kickoff, which is happening 90 minutes before the game. And obviously it doesn't last 90 minutes because they've got to prepare the pitch, etc., for kickoff.
Okay.
It'll be a lot shorter than what you expect. Don't come online and complain about it. Last night, selected warm-up matches. Portugal beat Nigeria 2-1. England beat Costa Rica 3-0. Algeria with a 4-0 win over Bolivia. Senegal goalless with Saudi Arabia. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has told members of the media to calm down. He was responding to being asked if FIFA's lost control of its own tournament, highlighted by the fact that Africa's top referee Omar Tan was denied access to the USA.
Maybe sometimes it's good as well to just chill, relax. Sometimes to immediately start screaming and shouting has the opposite effect of finding a solution. But then we need to respect that we are not the kings of the world who can rule over governments and police forces and I don't know what.
Cape Town City won't be in the Betway Premiership next season after yesterday's 1-1 draw with Magesi. Magesi will be promoted if they beat Milford on Saturday. Milford just needs a draw. In cricket, England dropped Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson for the second test with New Zealand after they broke the team's midnight curfew. Joe Root will captain the side. Serena Williams might not get to play in the doubles quarterfinals at Queen's today as her partner, Victoria Mboko, injured her knee in a singles match yesterday. Williams made a return to tennis on Tuesday after almost 4 years away from the game. And the South African men's hockey team hosts France tonight in the opening match of the FIH Hockey Nations Cup. That's happening in Cape Town. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS LEGAL to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized SP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg. or go to sweetor.com today. Sweetor, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
Joburg winter is creeping in. The mornings are colder, the scarves are back, and suddenly getting out of bed feels like an extreme sport. So why not follow the sun? Swap the chill for warm Durban beaches, island time in Mauritius, turquoise waters in Zanzibar, or even a European summer with a vibe. Wherever the sunshine is calling, Flight Centre will help you get there. Visit your nearest Flight Centre store or flightcentre.co.za to start planning. Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
A bigger and better national lottery is here. Live draws are back. Play at participating retailers, banking apps, and online. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizakai.
What if the problem you faced became the business that changed everything? That's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about. This year's theme, my pain, my purpose, my solution. So we're calling on small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful ideas. 200,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. Mentorship, business support, tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. Nedbank, see money differently, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
EWN Traffic.
12 to 9, let's wrap up the morning's roads. It's been a busy one. Khomotso?
Thank you, Bongs. We'll start in Pretoria. There has been an accident on the N1 South. It is causing delays from Atterbury Road to Rigel Avenue. Heading towards Sandton, there's slow-moving traffic on the M1 South from the Butlu interchange to Grayston Drive. And further along, there is sluggish traffic on the M1 South. This is from Grayston Drive to Corlett Drive. I'll have more updates at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Hey guys, this is Robert Marawa, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Playing responsibly is part of the winning strategy. Make smart choices and continue to score. If you or someone that you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
If you're CEO or CFO looking to grow across Africa, then the next 60 seconds are for you. Because in that short time, one bank in Africa will process over 300 million Rand. That's 430 billion Rand every day. Right now, we have 17.7 trillion Rand of the continent's assets under custody management, making us far and away the largest bank by assets in Africa, which is why in 2025, we were voted Best Bank for Corporates in Africa at the Euro Money Awards for Excellence. So, if you're looking for a bank with scale, we are easy to find. We are in 21 key markets across Africa, and we've been on the continent for 163 years, so we are not going anywhere. Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Day 42 in my new kitchen. I'm currently staring at the seamless handle profiles and integrated LED lighting of this masterpiece of modern architecture. My husband thinks I'm making a sandwich, but I'm just running my hands along the porcelain countertops for the 10th time today. I've even started speaking exclusively in a British accent to match the opulence. For a bespoke culinary space, visit Moremi Kitchens today at moremikitchens.co.za.
My name is Richard Sutton, and I'm the host of the podcast Shift Happens. This podcast is about you, about transformation, elevation, and becoming the best version of yourself. Each episode shares powerful, hard-won lessons from prominent South Africans who have faced doubt, change, and early failure, and emerged transformed. Don't miss Shift Happens, the tools, insight, and skills to help you navigate the real realities of life. Now streaming on primemediaplus.com, the Prime Media Plus app, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Clement Manyatela, of course, broadcasting from the infamous Birchwood Hotel this morning. Clement, what's going on there?
So, good morning. We are at the Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program Business Opportunity Workshop. It's taking place, as you say, here at the Beechwood Hotel and OR Tambo Conference Center in Boksburg. So we'll be bringing you the latest coming from this conference. But on the open line, we are going to, of course, send some well wishes to our boys in Mexico ahead of that match tonight. But also we'll be reflecting on Sanlam, the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon now being officially confirmed as the 8th Abbott World Marathon Major. It's quite a big deal, and it's going to bring about some great economic opportunities for our country. At 10 o'clock, we're going to do our Hanging Out feature, and today we're hanging out with Bongani Bingwa, an award-winning artist, and then we wrap up the show at 11 o'clock with our Thursday Dialogue. And today I'm asking whether political parties or leaders have been providing the leadership needed now, or if they're inflaming tensions in these anti-immigration protests.
That's Tim and Manyatela between 9 and 12.
We at Monument Dental are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
Outsurance business insurance clients know that it pays to switch. And did you know you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium when you switch? For dentistries, general medical practices, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance business insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702 Josie, my Josie, walk the talk, calling on you to walk with the people, for the people. Sunday, 26 July, Babize Bonke. 3 different inner city routes, 15 Ks. If you choose that one, it takes you from Ellis Park through town, all the way to Constitution Hill, that precinct, down to Bromfontein, over the Mandela Bridge again, then through Newtown, past the Market Theatre, you wind your way through the city back to Ellis Park. But it could be 5, it could be 8 Ks, or indeed the 15 Ks. Whichever distance you choose, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie, my Josie, Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
Breaking news. Motorists are bracing themselves for even more fuel price hikes in June.
Or prepare differently. BYD hybrid vehicles use up to 70% less fuel than normal cars. And BYD fully electric vehicles, no fuel at all. Test drive the brand new BYD Atto 2 DMI plug-in hybrid this June and kiss rising fuel prices goodbye forever. Visit byd.coza or your nearest dealership. BYD, build your dreams.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Are you a lover of truth and storytelling, documentaries? So whether you're fascinated by gripping true crime investigations, powerful biographies, or untold historical narratives, or indeed captivated by the wonders of nature, there's something for everyone at South Africa's biggest documentary celebrations. We're talking, of course, about the Encounters South African International Documentary Festival. For 11 days, real stories from across the globe taking center stage. And we're joined now by Odette Geldenhuys, who is a documentary filmmaker and a board member for Encounters. Odette, a pleasure to chat to you this morning. Encounters has been such a success. This is now, the 28th edition?
Yes, hi, good morning, Bongani, and it's great to be here with you. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. I'm focused on the docus we are likely to see.
Right.
Stories of courage, loss, resilience. There's something special about this format.
Absolutely. So before I jump into magical realism and the various genres, I think let's just kind of get the essential information done. So how to book. www.encounters.
Tell us about the festival first. We'll get to how we book. Don't worry.
Okay. I'm just, I've got so much to say, so I'm worried I'm going to run out of time.
We'll give you enough time. Whet our appetite first, then we'll decide.
Okay, excellent. So what's on offer for 702 Landers? As you've kind of given the range of topics, there's much more. There's a choice of documentary genres. People often think of documentaries as kind of boringly dry, and they'd rather sort of stay at home. Now, what we have on offer this year are different genres. For example, magical, realistic documentaries. A dancer in Guinea, docufiction in the form of Tristan Forever. We've got a collection of short stories such as The Body Remembers, which includes a short on our own Sarki Bartman and that horrible story. And then we've got retelling of history. And there I want to just note Notes from the Underground, which is the hip-hop the history of Cape hip-hop. Amokar, which is about the story of a poet and an activist. And My Father and Gaddafi, I think that title is quite obvious. The documentary filmmaker's father disappeared under Gaddafi's regime. Then we've got the crazies. Crazies with lots and lots of money. There we've got Elon Musk, Unveiled. It's about the Tesla cars, the self-driving Tesla cars, and how they are death traps. And all about the money, which is actually quite sad. How a young man who has got much more money to spend, much more money than he can ever spend in his entire lifetime, just is quite sort of unhappy, and he doesn't get it right. And then we end off with love in the form of our beloved Archbishop Desmond Tutu. It's been a major hit on the festival, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu documentary. There's still a couple of screenings in Johannesburg, but yeah, people need to really rush to get a ticket for that one.
Absolutely. I've been keen to see Sonder. I think that's showing in Rosebank this evening because, of course, it is Pride Month as well. But I wanted to start the conversation with the fact that you've been doing this now for quite some time. The 28th edition also means you've had all of nearly 3 decades of celebrating these real-life stories from here, from the rest of the continent and around the world. So 58 docies, 33 countries. It's a really, really well-curated experience, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think we must highlight that for 702 Landers, we have added a cinema in Pretoria this year for the first time. So Ster-Kinekor in Brooklyn is
fantastic.
Number of screenings there. We've also added Ster-Kinekor Southgate, then our beloved The Bioscope at 44 Stanley, where people have often gone to Rosebank Nouveau, and then there's also Ster-Kinekor Sandton, where we've added a screening there. I suspect it might be Tutu, but yeah.
All right, now Odette, how to book.
Okay, how to book, yay. Okay, www.encounters.co.za. Look for schedule, click on schedule, and there's a beautifully laid out program by date. And at the end of each line, there's a turquoise book button. So it takes you straight to where you need to book, because for Ster-Kinekor, it's a different booking system, and for Bioscope, a different booking system. But the turquoise button takes you to the right place.
All right, www.encounters.co.za. If you're a lover of truth, documentary filmmaking, this is the one for you to go and see. Odette Geldenhuys there, a filmmaker and a board member of the Encounters South African International Documentary Film Festival.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
Good luck, Bafana. Score first, draw first blood, and let's hope to have a fantastic opening game. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. 3 Department of Health officials are under investigation in connection with an 800 million rand independent development trust tender to supply oxygen.